Welcome, Wapham crew, friends, fiends, family, and phantoms. Yes, I can hear you now. Hold on, I'm doing the intro really quick. Thank goodness we got the sound fixed. Um, Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, October 2nd, Monday, October 3rd, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. I keep trying to put the evening before the afternoon, and that's just not how it goes. Hope you guys have had an awesome weekend so far. I got to see my god kids today, and that was awesome. I can't believe how much they've grown. It is crazy. I got to do that today, so of course I didn't get to sleep in like I generally do, and I, of course, stayed up way too late last night. But it was a good time had by all. So I'm your host, TessaTNT. We are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight, and if you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us under We Are Paradox Media at Spreaker.com. You may also find us live on KPNL Radio, which you can find at KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com. On Saturdays, you can also hear us live on eTalk Radio, which you can find on etalk.tv/radio. If you want to listen to us on your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, you can find us on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Tumblr, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Podcast Chaser. Please make sure that you mosey on over to our YouTube channel and look us up under We Are Paradox Media. Give us a like, follow us, like any video you listen to, leave comments whether it's good or bad, or perhaps there's a guest that you'd like us to have on the show. We can do that for you too. But we don't know who you want to hear about unless you let us know. By us, I mean me and this turd I got in my pocket. Anywho's. So I have a treat for all my guys and gals tonight. Tonight, we will be talking to and getting to know Mr. Troy Trone. We've had him on the show before, but he's back with some new sightings that he's had. So Troy Trone is homegrown in Colorado, went to high school in Ignacio. Following high school, Troy worked around the Four Corners area. Then he moved to Tucson, Arizona. Troy then joined a security company for the city of Tucson. That is when he worked for 911 with Land Home Security, where he was a mobile supervising captain for about 5 years. Then from 2007 through 2011, Troy was a correctional officer for Hawaii, then moved back home to spend more time with the grandkids and his kids. So Troy's paranormal experience started as a child and continued to follow Troy for the rest of his life. Things in the dark are out. There are things in the sky that are out there, and the paranormal is no longer fiction to him, and that's a fact. What is reality? Everyone has their own opinion and experiences. Troy's just happened to be weird, just like me. Welcome, Troy.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy and honored to be back on the show.
I'm so glad. I was excited that you reached out to me. Like I said, things have been really busy with Dave being in the hospital, and so I got some dates to be filling up in October. But I'm so glad you're back, and I can't wait to hear about your new experiences that you've been having. There's been so
Yeah.
many things out there in the sky and everywhere recently.
Well, it's strange because, I live right here by the airport, so I see lights in the sky. I know what helicopter lights are. I know what little small jets, biplanes, game warden planes, jets,
Oh,
passenger jets. I know all that.
yeah, hold on one second. For some reason, it's not picking you up. Um, on our Spreaker, so I don't want anybody to miss anything. So give me one second and let me see what's going on with my system now. This is so weird. All right, let's see. Okay, are you still there? Nope. Let's do this one. How about now? Nope. How about this one? Nope. And then this
How
one.
about now?
Yeah, you're here, but yeah, here, maybe I should just like pump you up or crank you up or whatever. Let me try
Yeah.
something else really quick. Okay, say that again.
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 Say it again.
That again. I know.
Again. Yeah. Like I was saying, it also really. Let me go back to my childhood. When I was in my childhood,
Yeah, hold on one second. Sorry. You're still lost on the speaker. I could hear you in my headphones, but you're still lost on speaker. I'm sorry. Uno momento, por favor. What the crack is happening? De nada. Maybe
is
if
it the?
yeah, I'm just gonna have to turn it up over here so hopefully you don't hear the echo because it's picking up this way, but
Well,
let's
I
try
put
that.
my headphones on, so maybe that'll help.
Yeah, we can hear you really good now.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yeah, it's
So,
not you, so don't touch anything. That's all me.
all
You're
right, so
welcome.
we're all good now. Good, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay. Like I was saying, when it all started when I was a kid, I kept seeing these apparitions coming to me at night, and we're talking like 3, 4 years old, and I still remember it very distinctively. Um, and it was a taller person and a shorter person. One was a male, one was a female because you could see the bottom of her with like a dress kind of on, but you could only see a light image of her, like a shadow but white. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
so it was many years went by, and I was probably 2022, and my mom was flipping through the albums, and it just happened to be that my grandpa was like 6'9". And did you get that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, so that kind of threw me off. I was like, wow. And then throughout my years, I've seen several different things, and I couldn't understand exactly what I've seen, like Bigfoot. You know, um, I've had experience with that. I've had experiences with witches. I've had experiences with missing time. I've had experiences with being in like an alternate dimension, kind of like a portal situation. All here in this area. It's not outside this area. It's all been here. In fact, that story I was going to tell you about. A buddy of mine was cutting wood up by, I think it was up by Falkirk Gulch or Beaver
Okay.
Meadows, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And it was getting late, and they were getting in the car, and they were on a hillside, and he looked up, and there's a bunch of lights, like a big bright light coming up. Well, all of a sudden, his truck started rolling up hills,
What the heck?
and he was standing on his brakes, and he took a picture of this little light that he seen, and his wife was like, "Yeah, we were standing on the brakes, and it was just rolling and rolling and rolling,
And you said
and
uphill?
up hills, up hills. We're talking
That's
like,
insane.
yeah, like probably like the hill that comes out of Bayfield, right there where that little tunnel is,
Okay, so
or the pipe that goes across the road. I mean,
okay. Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
and uh, and he couldn't get it to stop, and he couldn't get. But the weird part was it was in park, and the engine was off. The wheels weren't rolling; it was being dragged.
Yeah, and he was pushing on the brakes like so hard he was standing on the brakes.
Right, right, and see, and that he said that went on for about like 10, 15 minutes as they progressively went up the hill, and then all of a sudden another light came by, and this light that was haunting him, I guess, took off, And as soon as it disappears, boom, end of story. No more. So, and they came back. And they came right over and was talking to me right after that because he was also the same person that had the same experience with me in Ignacio.
When
And
you guys were
actually,
kids?
yeah, we were just uh, just graduated high school.
Wild and crazy days, guarantee it.
I know, yeah. And we were walking in the back alley in Ignacio, and I looked over across the street, and I seen these two Southern Ute Indian police, and they were looking up. So of course, you see two people looking up. Everybody wants to look up to see what they're looking at. So we looked up, and there was this thing that was like as long as a football field, totally black on. It was blocking out all the stars. There's no sound, no wind, no dogs would bark, no cats were meowing, no
Everything
owls
was
were
silent.
hooting. Silent, scary silent, and you could feel like when you get a balloon and you rub it on your head
Oh,
and
yeah, you
it
get
pulls
that
away just
static.
a few. Yeah, that's the static was all over the place. And when we looked up, we seen this big, huge object that had pale, off-colored, weird lights on it, not normal aircraft
Were
plane
they
lights.
kind of like fluorescent colored? Because the
Yes, they
one
were
that
like a floor.
I just saw a
Mm-hmm.
posting. Somebody posted something like that, and I'm like, that looks exactly like the one that me and my friend Mia saw out at her property. And I also
Yeah.
saw the little tic tac looking ones that I've seen at my house too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy you say you live by the airport. They're always heading towards the airport. It's like they're trying to be seen or picked up on radar or something.
Right.
Except for they're so low, I don't know if radar will pick that up.
Yeah. And well, that's what brings me to the most recent sighting that I've seen. So it was last Thursday. I think that was the day that we talked about me coming on the show. I
Hmm.
think it was that night or the day before that.
Yeah, I'm sorry it
And
took me so long. I was like, I'll give you some dates. And like a week later, I'm like, hey, I got these dates.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds like me too.
Procrastinator's my middle name. And
Hey, hey,
I got mom brain.
that's my middle, last, and first. So,
Yeah. plus, plus being a stoner doesn't really help it.
right. I think I'm actually the one that invented it. But
Right? Hey, we
but
must be
as I was
related.
looking out, I was on the back porch letting the dogs out because I let them out every night. I have a English bulldog that his name's Chester, and he runs around out there, and
Aw,
yeah,
little
he's
devil
adorable.
dog. Oh my
Yeah, he is.
goodness.
And then I have a little Chihuahua, which is his buddy.
Yeah.
So they're like best buds forever, life. So I let them out, and he goes outside, and he usually when he goes outside, he's on a run. And he ran outside, but as soon as he hit the ground, he stopped and he looked up. Well, I thought he's probably looking at a bat because I have the porch light on and those bats will flying around.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up, and when I looked up, there was this sphere, and from where I was standing, it looked like about the size of a softball.
Okay.
Okay, but
What
that was
color was
totally
it?
totally white,
Okay.
not any kind of aviation lights on it, no greens, no blues, no nothing.
Was it moving
And
slow or fast or?
no, it was moving faster than a plane
Mm-hmm.
and making no sound. And it was probably as high as I would say it's probably up at least I would say like maybe 3,000, 5,000 feet.
Okay.
And but it was like I said, it looked like the size of a softball, so it was up there ways, but it
Yeah.
was traveling, and it was traveling in a northeasterly direction from the
Okay.
airport. And I
From the
thought, well,
airport.
yeah, it was like passing the airport and heading right towards the northeast. I mean, just straight like if it was heading kind of like in your direction, but just off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And and it was moving, and it was moving quick. Well, I thought that's unusual, and I watched it and I watched it, and after it got a little ways out there, it just disappeared. I mean, it went from a bright light to nothing, nothing. And I thought, well, maybe that was a plane light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would have been. I could have passed it off like that, but then there were three more objects that were right behind it.
Seriously?
That was the size of a soccer ball.
So they were bigger, or were they closer to the ground, you think?
I think they were closer to the ground,
Okay.
and they were moving at a high rate of speed, and they went at a northeasterly position, but they split. They
Oh,
like
wow.
they split in different directions, like it was like an Air Force maneuver, and they
Mm-hmm.
were chasing the other ship. That's what it seemed like to me. But these things
Ooh.
chasing this other ship were not from this world. There wasn't any technology I know because I mean I've been around military all my life. I lived in Camp Pendleton. I
Oh,
worked for national. I worked for national security. I mean, there's things out there that we cannot explain. They're not from this world. They've been here for ages, which brings me to the other story. So, do you know where Slick Rock is? Have you heard of Slick Rock,
oh,
Colorado?
I think I
It's right
have,
over
but
by
it's been a
it's
while.
right over by Dove Creek,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and it goes into a valley down there. It's called the Basin. It goes into a basin, and the basin is basically all these big bluffs. It kind of it kind of reminds me of the Valley of the Gods. If you've ever been to the Valley of the
I
Gods,
have not been to, I think it's the Garden of the Gods, but there's probably a valley in there
yeah.
too. But I
Well,
want
no,
to
no, I
go.
think it is the Garden, and that's
Yeah.
another story that we're gonna get to too.
Nice.
But I was over in Slick Rock, and we were going down those switchbacks, and we were in a truck, like a semi truck. We were hauling, I think, some hay or wood. I can't remember what the hell we were hauling, but
Hey.
anyway, yeah, exactly. And we were cruising down the road, and I just happened to look up, and when I looked up, there was this silver Tic Tac looking object. It was cruising fast, then it just stopped and shot straight up. Hang on one second.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
No worries. Yeah, it's kind of like the sighting that we had here, just talking to the listeners really quick while he goes and takes care of whatever's going on out there. I think the dogs are acting up and mom's yelling and he's going to see what's going on to see if he can help. What a good guy. Um, but yeah, I didn't even see these things with my own eye because I wasn't wearing my glasses. I was out there to check out the Perseids, see if I could get any pictures, and unfortunately, it was a cloudy night, so you couldn't see a lot, but the moon was emitting this strange color. Generally it's a white or whatever, but for some apparent reason, it was like an electric blue color that was radiating off the moon and therefore off the clouds. So it was the craziest color I ever saw the moon emit. And so I'm taking pictures with my camera, and along the lines of the clouds, well, first there was what I call the conference in the sky, and I'll have to send that one to you, Troy, because I think you're back. But there was a ring of lights just sitting on a cloud, like they're communicating or whatever, which I'm sure they have like radios or something. For some apparent reason, they're sitting in a ring on top of this cloud, and that's to the direction from Bayfield to Pagosa, so to the east. And then later
Again,
on
to the
that
east.
night, yeah, and then later on that night, they were to the south, and they went from being these different colored balls of light to looking like an individual spacecraft. So specifically for one person, and it kind of just really reminded me of like a rocket ship with boosters or something on it. And whatever direction one was pointing, all the others were pointing. Whatever formation they were in, they were all pointing up or down, to the left, to the right, whatever. Wherever they were along the clouds, like they're hiding or something, but I don't know. It was really weird. And then they went back to little balls of light and then they disappeared.
Yeah, yeah, and I had that same kind of experience in Cortez. I I lived at the bottom of Mesa Verde,
Oh,
and
wow.
Mesa Verde is another spiritual,
Oh my
I
God,
think,
it's amazing.
interdimensional
I
something.
ser-
Something goes on there.
yeah. It's weird. I took the kids there this last spring break and they loved it. My mom and dad went to a conference up in Denver. They probably saw the Garden of the Gods, and then they came down,
Hmm.
and they took pictures at Mesa Verde. And my mom went down in one of those, I want to call them kivas, but is it a kivas? Kivas
Yeah,
that go
yeah,
down in the ground? She went
yep.
down into one
Hmm.
of those and then she came back up and my dad said she was as white as a sheet and he's like, "What's going on? Are you okay?" And she said that she saw some shaman or whatever down there, three of them,
Yep.
and they were doing some sort of ceremony. And when she went down there, she interrupted it. And then after that, she felt like every car on the road was after her. So she was just like white knuckle driving back home. On the way home, she wrote her dad. So before she got there, the letter got there. I don't know. They must have been doing some more sightseeing or something, but he was pissed. He's like, "Don't ever say anything like that." And she's like, "Dad, I'm serious. Like, I'm going to die in a car accident, and this is how I want my funeral." And he did it the way she wanted. But yeah, she saw her death coming. She knew she was about to die. Could you imagine? I'd stay in bed and
That
then maybe the house would fall on me because if you're gonna die, you're gonna die, I guess. Or maybe I'd choke on my own saliva like I always do.
right. Well. See, my sister did the same thing. Well, she had cancer. She had lung cancer,
Okay.
and they uh they said, oh, and she had that single cell, small cell, the real rough stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
and
the
they
melanoma
actually
or single cell melanoma or something like that? Or
no, it's I can't think of the name of it, but it's called small cell cancer
okay,
for for the simple people like me. So
in layman's terms.
yeah, and anyway, she told me that the doctor said it was in remission. They got it. And she was doing good, right?
Yeah.
About a week later, she came up to my house and said, "Hey, I just want to talk to you." I said, "What's going on, sis?" And she goes, "You know, I'm not doing too good. I don't think I'm going to make it." And the next day, she passed away.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
she
And the
just
doctor said it was in remission,
she
but was it
died
hiding
innocent.
somewhere? Or was it something else?
I guess she passed away. No, that well, she had heart issues too, but she'd been taking chemo for months and months
Yeah.
and months and months and months and months and months,
Oh my
and
goodness.
she was just asleep home in her chair in the middle of the day, taking a nap, and she just never woke up.
That's what
But
happened
she
to my
died with a
stepmom.
smile on her face.
Well, that's good. So do you think she was at peace
So
with it? Because she had
I
been
think
looking at death
that's
for so
mainly what
long, but she knew it was coming.
she had because she was hanging on because she was taking care of my mom. My mom had Alzheimer's and dementia, and let me tell you, that's a handful.
That's a double whammy.
And
Either one of
yeah,
those is a handful.
and
That's a double whammy right there.
and she always told me when mom goes, I'm going to go right after her. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm ready. Because she had just lost her husband, and then my mom, and she said she was going to go, and she did. So she almost called the shot, But it was weird because she always she was another person like me that had that second vision that
Second sight?
something's going to happen, something peculiar. Yeah, and that was really really strange. I mean, so I understand where you're coming from with your mom. I really do.
Yeah, that was strange. Like, could you imagine what they went through, your sister and my mom, just knowing? I don't know, it seemed like your sister was at peace with it and whatnot, but
But
my mom was
I think,
scared. I don't
well,
know, I
yeah,
think she
I
just
mean,
wanted to make it back home to see us and stuff before it happened or
that
something, I don't know.
I think maybe that she wasn't ready herself.
And you know what's
She's
really
seen it.
weird too? Go ahead. You finish first.
No, that's what I think. Maybe she wasn't ready. Like my sister, she'd been saying it over a few years and
Yeah.
preparing for it, you know.
Mhm.
But your mom was just like saying, "Well, I see it coming, but I don't want it to happen because I'm not ready to leave my kids yet."
Yeah.
You know, I mean that, or my family, or whatever the case may be, because it's just like my father. When he passed away in my arms,
Oh.
and I was only about, I think, 12. He had a mass and coronary, and he looked at me and said, "Son, I love you, and I'll always be with you. I was here in the flesh, and I'll be here in the spirit."
Have you felt him
And
around?
oh yeah, constantly.
That's
I,
awesome.
I've known he's pulled me out of some predicaments that otherwise I wouldn't be even here today. You know, I
Yeah.
know that for a fact, and I feel my sister too, because I told my sister when she was talking about passing away, I said, "Well, when it comes my time, I want you to come get me." She goes, "I'll be there for you."
Yeah.
So I mean, you can look at death in two different ways. You can look at it as a sadness, or you can look at it as a minor or a major vacation. You're going to be reunited no matter what. But it's just taking a little vacation. And, if you have that notion and that feel that you are going to see him again, then it helps you move on to enjoy life because that's what we're basically here for, to enjoy what we have in life
I
and
know
what we got.
everybody's looking for, well, what's the purpose of life? Like, why am I here? And I think the main thing is to find happiness or whatnot. To be happy.
Exactly. Exactly. That's it.
Appreciate what you
You,
have, no matter what it is.
you're my belief is we're here put on this earth to learn
And to
everything we
help each
can
other.
and to help each other. We learn love, respect, honor, sadness, heartbreak, joy, you know, all that kind of stuff. We have to learn that so we can teach our children about that. So when we go pass on, we don't have to come back and do it all over again because we didn't do it right the first time.
I think I'm on my final round. I don't remember any of my past lives, but my younger daughter, she used to tell me about hers, and she's the only kid out of four that did, and it really blew me away. I was like, holy
Yeah,
shnikes. I think I told you about that, but yeah, she was tying
yeah, yeah,
that lanyard and she's like, Mom, I gotta tie it off or I'm gonna bleed out. I'm like, you're only a year and a half old. Like, what are you talking about? I used to be a really tall guy with blonde, wavy hair, and I used to wear glasses, and I was a nurse. And she still wants to follow that profession. And she was almost going to be a bloody nurse for Halloween, but I'm like, I don't think they allow that sort of thing in school, so maybe pick a different
right,
costume. So now she's one of the
exactly.
purge mask people. I don't know.
Oh wow,
Oh,
you know.
wow, she's
Well,
very, very unique.
have you ever had deja vu?
Oh, yes, a lot.
And see that
It
is
always scares me because
definitely
I'm
from the
like,
past.
yeah, I'm like, what's about to happen? Something's about to happen, and I'm afraid it's bad because, I have the luck of the Irish, which is generally shitty.
Yep.
um, and I'm just like, what's about to happen? Like, I always think it's something bad, but nothing bad happens, but it's like I've been there before. Like,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. It's just like I had a dream or I saw this, like this exact thing happened, and you're about to say this or whatever. Is it past life or is that like psychic abilities? Because past life is in the past. Why would it be the same right now? Except for
Well,
things repeat.
oh, see, I think that's true because I've walked into certain places and knew exactly where everything was and how to get around. And I know for a fact I hadn't ever been there in this life. But
Okay.
I could tell you what was behind that tree, barn, how many bedrooms that house had in it, and what color it was before, and how old it's been. I mean, and then I've had several dreams where I've been murdered in my past life.
Really? Okay, so that reminds me of birthmarks. So, where you received that injury or whatever, however you died in a past life, do you have a birthmark in that area or
Right in
no?
my back, right on my back, right above
Really?
my kidneys.
And
Yeah,
that's where your birthmark is.
yeah, right above my left butt cheek.
right above right above that little dimple.
Yep, and that's that's where I remember getting stabbed. I was stabbed on the side of a road somewhere in the south. I'm thinking like in Arkansas.
That's where I'm from.
Um,
Maybe I stabbed you. I'm sorry, my
but,
friend.
but no, you wouldn't have threw me alongside the road. I got thrown alongside the road after that, and I laid out and bled out right there.
Jeez.
And but before I totally go out, I'll wake up from my dream, and I thought it was just one dream, but it went for a few years, like 4 or 5 years. I've had the same dream,
I'm like yeah, oh my god, I hate that. Speaking of
and it's
that, I
affected
think
me.
I fell to my death back in the day when they were building skyscrapers in New York. Because I was up there and there was a crane and it was moving an iron beam. And for some reason, I'm on this iron beam. Maybe I was some sort of jackass that was like, hey, hold my beer while I do this. But then this wind blew and it made the iron beam start to wave around and I fell. And, the people and the cars and everything were really small, but they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Hmm.
every time, right before I'd hit the sidewalk, there was a crack in the sidewalk. Maybe that's why I hate cracks in sidewalks. I won't step on them. But yeah, before I hit the crack in the sidewalk, I would wake up, but I just kept getting closer and closer and closer. I
Yeah,
don't think I ever hit, but it was repetitive. It was so bad, like I was afraid to go to sleep because I hate the feeling of falling, and I would literally feel
almost
it.
definitely.
Oh my gosh. So I
That's
think that
that's the
was one of
worst
my past
falling,
lives.
and that I hate falling too. I've been afraid of heights all my life anyway. But it's funny. I've built buildings and 3-story condos up in Telluride, but I'm afraid of heights, right?
Right? I used to be a monkey and like climb trees when I was younger, but when I went into the military and we had to go down the walls and everything,
Mhm.
forget about it. I don't
Yeah,
trust it. I'm gonna fall to my death. I just know it. It never happened, but I was also afraid I was gonna blow myself up when we did that one thing, and I believe it was combat training. I knew for sure I was gonna pull a pin and go to throw the grenade and I was gonna drop it or it was gonna bounce off the wall or something. But that didn't happen either. I
right.
was so scared. But yeah, heights, not me, coach.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's weird. And I was talking to you about deja vu and interdimensional traveling and stuff like that. Well, I used to live in a little town called Mexican Hat. It's
I
I
know where
don't
that
know if you
is.
and you know how strange looking that area is. Well, there's a road that you can take from Mexican Hat that goes to Blanding, Utah. And on that road, and this was back in probably late '80s or so, and we're driving down the road, and I see this old cowboy, and he was an old, I mean old cowboy. He had the old cowboy hat on, he had chaps
Like the
on, and
big
he's
bucket
walking.
hat.
Yeah, and he was like walking, right? And we drove by him, and he looked at us, but when he looked at us, he just had this stone cold look, no emotions, no nothing.
Rest in
And
bitch face.
yeah, and it's like 105 out there. Yeah, exactly. And it's like 105, so it's really hot. So we get about 200 yards up ahead, and I thought, I know the guy looks mean. Maybe he might be a serial killer. I don't know, but the dude looks like he's like 85, 90 years old. So I go to back up and start looking for him. Gone. He disappeared. We only passed him about 200 feet.
That was a ghost,
So,
man.
well, that's what I thought too. When they
Did
were
he look
coming back,
odd
when they were coming,
otherwise? Like, he looked like a normal person. He didn't have, like, extra long arms or anything, right?
no, no extra long arms. He looked just like a real person that
Okay.
he should be there. And on the
Okay.
way back, which what was really peculiar is he wasn't there, but there was a horse with a saddle on it walking by itself going the opposite way.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't
My gosh.
I didn't turn around to look after that
You're like, no, I'm
because I
good.
was like, yeah, this not happening. I gotta go, And it was really strange. And, I mean, I get goosebumps telling that story because it's just to me. I think maybe at that point in time had crossed, and we were actually between timelines of that old cowboy walking and us driving, and he's the only one that actually seen us,
Or maybe he just
and
haunts the
we're
road, you know?
yeah,
Um,
and there's horse.
yeah, like they're intelligent spirits because, like you said, he looked at you. So he
Yeah,
obviously knows you're there, and he's probably like, what in tarnation is that?
yeah,
Um,
you know.
that's insane. I wonder if you like looked it up or whatever, the history of that road, if anybody else has that same story.
But I hear a lot of stories on that road. As you go past, like you're going towards, I guess it'd be Page from Mexican Hat or that direction anyway. Down there by the San Juan River, there's a big giant bridge that goes across the San Juan River right there. And on the other side of that river, and that's pretty much all Navajo Nation in there. It's all
I love
reservation there.
Navajos. They're so nice.
Oh, I got grandkids that are Navajo.
Oh, I bet they're
Yeah,
cute. Oh my
they
goodness.
are. They're darling. But
Aw.
and going through there, there's many stories told while I was living there of these giant, big, huge birds.
Thunderbirds.
Yes, giant, huge birds. Not just a normal bird. We're talking, something that could pick up a VW bug and toss it around. Huge. And there, you get off on some of these dirt roads back there. You don't want to be out there at night. You want to get out of there off those back roads at night. You just
So the
don't want to be
Thunderbirds come out
out
at
there.
night or what? Like that's weird.
No, no.
Oh, it's
That's
something
not
else.
the Thunderbirds in the evening. They'll be in the evening time. They'll come by. But
Like
they
at
also
dusk or
have
whatever?
right like at
Okay.
dusk. And the other things that they're talking about out there resembles like I don't. They say it's like it's not a skinwalker and it's not a shift shaper, but it's a creature that's tall, slender, and has red eyes.
Ew.
And they say if you're walking on one of those trails, it will reach out and pull you in, and you'll be just another statistic lost person in the woods or misplaced.
What the hell is
And
that? Like, is that like Slender Man or the relatives of
I'm thinking,
Slender Man?
I'm thinking something like the Slender Man type of thing. But but on the same note, that area is infested with UFOs that you couldn't even imagine. I mean, there had been probably one day when I was living back there that I did not see strange luminescent green lights coming from the ground.
Really?
Yeah, coming from the ground. These were not in the sky.
Maybe
These were
those were
like
goblins.
they were like a fluorescent green light, like a glow stick,
Mm-hmm.
like a green glow stick, but ultra bright, and you could see a shadow because the light wouldn't come up straight; it'd come out to the side. You see what I'm saying? It'd go out at an
Yeah.
angle, and it'd
Was it
do a
always at a
circle.
certain direction or?
No, no. Well, I guess whatever landed or was showing the light was coming from the ground, and and a circular. It was just in a circle. It covered a almost round, but it came
Was it
out
like
like,
a fairy circle?
well, no, you look, no,
It
you
was a
hold up. You know
UFO
how a coffee dish or a coffee
saucer?
not the cup saucer, yeah, like that. And you see how
Mm-hmm.
the sides come out a little bit. You know, the sides kind of flare out. That's how
Yeah.
the light did. The light flared out like that.
Oh my
It wasn't
goodness.
totally. It was like something was over the top of the light, making that light shoot out to the side, or something was, and it would go up 10, 12 feet in the air. You know, it wasn't just like a low level light. And then you get in, if you put your radio on an AM station when you're out there in the dark, you're weird, weird stuff on that. I mean,
Oh my gosh, it's kind of like
stuff,
using a ghost box or something.
yeah, just weird stuff. I mean, I've had a lot of experience up there. I just, that was that, the old man and the horse was the top of the cake right there. But, and the Valley of the Gods, or the Garden of the
Garden
Gods.
of the Gods, yes.
Yeah, I always say the Valley of the Gods. Well, that's the way I think it because of it's such a enormous place. It's not
I
just
know it
a
goes
small.
from all the way from this highway all the way over to this highway. It
Yes,
stretches
it
that
reaches
whole
from one
way.
side to the other. Yeah,
I haven't
it's
been there, but
crazy.
I've looked at it on a map and I've seen pictures. But I really want to go there. It's just we're always in a hurry where, it's, Vern got flown up there for his stroke, or we have to go see an attorney because of a workman's comp or whatever. We're always on a
Right.
mission, so we never stop there. But that is on my bucket list. Some people may call it a fuck it list, but I want to go there.
Yeah, and it is a fucking really trippy spot. There's a spot over there where there is a hole that's been cut out in a rock. The hole doesn't go nowhere. It
Oh,
ends about 4 or 5 foot in. It,
I
it,
wonder if
it
it's
ends.
like an oracle stone or something.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. But the Navajo said that at some certain times you can get a witch to open a portal, and you can walk through that portal and go into the other dimension and bring back technology or secrets.
So there's Navajos like that far up,
Yeah.
like as far as nations? That's
Yes.
insane to me because I thought it was mainly in the southern region.
No.
Little do I
Navajo Nation.
know.
Navajo Nation reaches all the way across the biggest part of northern Arizona. It reaches all the way into the Blanding area.
Mm-hmm. And that's in
Um,
Utah, for those of you that don't
uh,
know.
it goes up there by Page. You know where Page is,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all Navajo Nation. Um, I mean, there's Navajo Nation is one of the largest. It's the number one largest reservation in the United States. If you did not know that,
I did not know that. That's amazing
yes,
because I
yeah,
heard these different stories that they're actually called the Dene,
mm-hmm,
and the Utes are the ones that named them Navajo because Navajo means thief. And I guess it
mm-hmm,
got so bad at a certain point that they were, stealing from other tribes, whether it be food or horses or whatnot.
mm-hmm.
So they gave them that name for them to be like one of the largest native nations. That to me is amazing that it got to that point for them.
Oh yeah, and it caused a big uprising between the Utes and the Navajo Nation because of the fact that some of the Utes would come and get some of their women and bring them back, and they'd use them to serve the Utes. So
Yeah.
what happened is the Navajos and their shaman started using witchcraft. They cursed the
And
northern
that's where the
Utes.
skinwalker comes from, right? Is the Navajo
Yes,
Nation.
yes, the Navajo Nation is the one that cursed all of Ute land that they would be terrorized by the skinwalkers for all eternity.
Because of what they did. I mean, they're so mean. They
Yes,
take over, they do.
and that comes to the other that I knew some witches that were Navajo, and they were scary. I mean, you didn't want to mess with them or piss them off, and you kind of just wanted to let them do what they wanted to do, and you just went the other way.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've always had longer hair or not, but I'm always worried when I go certain areas. I check myself when I have my family check my back to make
Yep.
sure I have no hairs hanging off because all they got to do is, pluck a hair from you, or maybe you got a hair from brushing your hair or whatever on your back. They'll take that and they'll do some pretty nasty stuff with your hair.
Here,
And
here's
that's bad.
another thing to watch for is if you happen to find a feather in your car or in your belongings or somewhere,
Are you
be aware.
serious?
I'm serious. Be
Oh my
aware
god. Okay, so are they
because
in the Phoenix area?
yes, ma'am.
Oh my god. Okay, so I went down to visit my mom and sister, and I went out to take a picture of my pretty Dodge Caliber and its Four Corners
Mhm.
Paranormal magnet on it. And I'm like, click, click. And then I notice there's this white feather. And you know that seam that goes down the car? I guess it's like a bumper protector or whatever. Like when people open their
Yeah.
doors, it's supposed to protect your car.
Uh huh.
Right there, just sitting against gravity, is this feather, and it was a white feather, and I thought of it as a good omen, but now that you say that, a lot of shit went downhill after that. Now I
That's what I'm
know.
saying.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and that's why I always check my surroundings when I go through the Navajo Nation at all times. I don't care where I am. Phoenix, they have one of the biggest Navajo colleges in Phoenix.
Oh my god. What did I do? I love the Navajo. Why are you mad at me?
But that's the thing. It's not just that.
It's
It's
just their practice.
yeah. It's
Not
the
all
ones
of
that
them. Okay, so not all Navajos are doing this, but yeah, some
yes,
of them are
but it's
witches, aka
some of
bitches.
them are witches, and they don't like people getting close to their realm. And you get close to that realm. You are vigilant on that realm. You are a paranormal activist, and they know that, and that treads on their realm, which it trespasses in their dimensions, and they don't want
Mm-hmm.
you to learn their secrets, what they have, because they're supposed to be the only ones blessed with it because they know how to get to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they've gotten to their people so much as far as the tribe goes. Like a lot of Native Americans, whether it's Ute or Navajo or whatever, don't like to talk about skinwalkers, or they don't like to talk about ghosts or anything like that unless they're
Yep.
having issues and they need help. Otherwise, you could be like, "Yeah, I'm part of a paranormal group, and what about skinwalkers? Or have you witnessed anything out on the res or whatever?" And they don't want to talk about it
No,
because
they
they
don't.
think if they talk about it, they're giving power to it, which I can see
Mm-hmm.
that.
Right.
You're
Right.
taking it from one person to the other. You're making it stronger.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to know.
Because they feed on fear.
Mhm.
Skinwalkers feed on fear. The more fear you let be known that you're telling somebody else and they're getting scared, it releases their fear, and that doubles the fear there, and then it doubles the fear after they tell somebody, and then it goes forth and forth, and then that's how they
Mm.
gain their power,
Yeah. They
which
also
is
don't
good.
talk about their dead.
No, no, but in all actuality, if you're having problems with a witch in the Navajo Nation, your best bet is to find a strong, strong medicine man.
Turn in a circle, left 3 times. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's
Uh,
hard too, because there's been, certain areas, and this is mostly like Ute area, but where they're putting wells and stuff, people have
mm-hmm.
dug up bones, and, then there's a lot of activity that happens afterwards because their graves have been disturbed. Now you're
Yeah,
pulling oil
desecrated.
or whatever from there, and people are being haunted, and so I give them the advice, try to get a hold of a medicine man or a shaman or something like that, have them come out and do a ceremony to put them back to rest. But
Yes.
it's hard to get them to do that. A lot of times they're asking for a lot of money. I don't agree with that. But we do have
Yeah.
to make our living one way or another. But at the same time, that's a gift. You shouldn't be,
Now,
making money off
now,
that.
the medicine man that I know
Is it Sam?
will not. No,
Okay.
no. This is, but I do know Sam. But the medicine men I know will not take money. They'll take tobacco. They will take
See?
pennies.
Yes. An offering that you can
An
use for
offering.
the
Yeah,
spirits.
exactly. And they will not. They refuse to take money. That's bad medicine. Bad medicine. Taking money is just like because money is not Native American. Money
It's
is
dirty.
it's dirty. It's made with crime. It's made with greed. It's made with hate. It's made with fear. That's why money has no value in the realm which a real medicine man or shaman goes into. Now, I was in a sweat in
You
Sedona,
did.
Arizona. Yeah, I did a sweat in Sedona, Arizona,
Awesome.
which
How'd it
was
go?
it was it was very very unique. Going in there and doing my thing, I did catch a vision. Definitely was a vision. I had to speak with the shaman afterwards. I had to give him tobacco, so so he could tell
So
me.
when you give them tobacco, is it like leaf tobacco or cigarettes, or how do you give them tobacco?
It's just like cigarette, like a bugle,
Okay.
like bugle,
Yeah.
But you take it out of the package and you'll put it in a leather pouch to
Okay.
present it to him.
Yes.
Okay, and because it's not, you can't give him anything that is man-made or man material, I guess.
With chemicals and stuff in it. Yeah.
Right. So anyhow, my vision was that I seen this white wolf jumping at me, and
So was it like mouth open or in a, you're my friend sort of
no, it was
way,
just
or running
like
and
it was just
jumping?
running at me. I had to, and running and jumping, and that's all. I didn't open its mouth. It didn't have no glowing eyes. The eyes were blue.
Mm-hmm.
It was a white wolf with blue eyes, and he told me that was a good omen. That
That's
means
beautiful.
that I was protected,
That's
and
awesome.
that my
Are you
life would
part
be blessed
native?
because of that. I'm Osage.
Osage.
I'm a quarter Osage. Yeah, my grandma was half.
I used to think I was quarter Cherokee, but then I did my DNA and those motherfuckers lied to me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Eh, There's so many, and I thought I didn't know I was half Osage until my dad told me. And he told me, and then he showed me a picture of my grandma, which my grandma and my grandpa on both sides passed away before I was even born. I mean, for
Aw.
Pete's sake, my dad was born in 1917.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he fought World War II. My grandpa fought World War One.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
so
grateful for their service and all
yeah,
that they gave up.
I got this black flag behind me. It's got a rattlesnake on it. It says liberty or death. Don't tread on me.
Right? Don't tread on
I
me.
got that flag. Yeah,
Well,
but
I
I did.
can't
I
see because your camera's
put
not
that up.
on, but
Yeah, I know. But and I got my dad's burial flag because he was buried with full honors.
that's
Military.
awesome.
He had
Where was
military
he
service.
buried?
Riverside, California, and that
Okay.
big VA
That's where
Veterans
my grandpa's buried.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my dad's buried. And
Yeah. Oh my
I was
gosh. It
presented.
was amazing like how many people were being buried that day. There was like lines of cars and you have to check in and do
What
all this other stuff before they let you through and it was
was that in
crazy.
the? When did your dad pass away?
Oh, it was my grandpa. He was
Oh,
in the
your grandpa.
Navy. Yeah, he was a squid and that was about I'm going to say 2 maybe 3 years ago he passed away.
Wow,
So I went to that cemetery out there in
that's a
California.
it's a beautiful cemetery.
It is. It really is. The surrounding area, I don't really like,
Not so
but
much.
yeah,
Yeah,
not so much. It's like, really? But
yeah,
it's California. There's so many people out there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then in sorry, Nutrioso, Arizona, that's where we did his ceremony with his ashes. And there's a flagpole, which he'd put the flag up every day and bring it down every night. And so, yeah, that's where we put his ashes, was right by a flagpole there. And
That's
he was
awesome.
a really awesome guy. But yeah, it's amazing. Like, all this tombstones look the same. It's very uniform.
Right,
But
right.
what an honor.
It was, and that was my. I was sitting there watching my dad, and they were taking the flag off his coffin, and they folded it up, and the sergeant at arms presented me that flag.
That always makes me like teary-eyed.
Yeah, I know. It's felt taps when I hear
Yeah.
taps.
Oh my God. Every morning I was like,
yeah, I know. It's it's
why
so
are you gonna
sad,
wake me up like this?
but it was an honor to see my father's burial flag, and I still have it today.
Oh, actually, that was every night. It actually helped me sleep, kind of. Because in the morning it's like,
Yeah,
can I
rally
change the
it
tone?
is.
Can I change the tone on this alarm? No.
Yeah,
Continue. I'm
no doubt.
sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. So that was some of the experiences I had over in the Garden of the Gods
That's
and
awesome.
in that area. And then
Well, that's a
I
perfect
have
time for us to adieu. We do have to go to our first music break.
oh yes, most definitely.
Yes. I love it. Like, instead of commercials, we got music. Although some people are saying on Spreaker, when I listen, there's commercials. Well, unless you're sending me money, I get $12 for 2 months. I'm thinking, is it really worth it? Used to be about 20 or whatever, but for some reason, people are shelving off. I did have sound issues for a while, but we got Jeff Hilliard from California, and he's a satirical sort of artist. Like, his shit is pretty funny. He's going to
Cool.
be singing Abandoned, Finger Bang Your Day. Then we got Cockroach from the UK with We Play House. And then we have Consensual Sex Van, which is one of my favorite songs. And then Mulletude. I don't know if you know, Troy, but I heard mullets are coming back. I used to be a
I heard.
mullet. Yeah, it's
I
a
used to have
thing.
one too.
Yeah. And they're actually bringing back corduroys and like 70s style clothes. And I love it. That's like one of my favorite
The
eras.
bell bottoms. The bell bottoms are coming
Yes.
back big time.
Oh, I love them. They
Loving it.
call them boot flare. They try to disguise it as boot flare. But no, those are bell bottoms, baby.
Yeah.
Well, you guys don't go
Exactly.
anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Left here alone, just a shadow of my erection on the wall. Why won't you answer my calls? I gave you my all with the love we made together all night long. I just don't know what went wrong. I When your life is a never-ending train wreck, and you feel like you're drowning in a sea of regret, with a bit of oppression pressing down on your neck, it hurts so bad. When your overwhelming hatred kills your heart's desire, and reality starts looking like a dumpster fire, you start bitching to me, but you're preaching to the choir. You don't need to be so mad. 'Cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason to try. When the whole world goes completely insane, open your heart, stand up and sing. I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah, I'll finger bang my day. That's right. You gotta make the choice to give it all you've got, and make your day long with pleasure, really make it hot. Because your day deserves a lover that pulls out the stops. Come on, it's not so hard. 'Cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason to try. When the whole world blows up in our face, what else could we do but stand up and sing? I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah, finger bang my day. Hey, what are we really doing? We can't live in a world that has this much hate. We have to get honest with ourselves. We have to take stock in what our part is in all of this madness. We have to let go, and we focus on giving love, setting that intention. And each and every single one of us gets up every day with the intention to give love. And we do it. We go out there and we give love every single day. Each one of us gets out there and makes love to our day, giving our day a multiple orgasm. The whole world will be orgasmic for the rest of eternity. Sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason to try. When the whole world is fucking insane, we open our hearts, stand up and sing. I'm gonna finger bang my day. Finger bang my day. Finger bang my day. Let's open our hearts, stand up and sing. I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah, finger bang my day.
We play house. We play house.
let's go. Just get in the van.
Drop a can drip, drip, drip. Drop a can drip, drop a can drip.
I got Marlon moves, got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it.
All these hookers sweet on me. Look at them chasing me, showing me that ass. And I bang up snatch. I do this shit for free. Go down your mama till 3. She's taking selfies with the mullet like it's history. How can I maneuver you with that pussy, dude? You sit like Buddha waiting on it to come to you. My lines are straight to the point. She shows me gratitude. So what's your latitude? Let's adjust your attitude. Here's what I alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini.
I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that.
Here's what I alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini.
Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it.
Here's what I alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini. You're like the butt of a butter knife cutting up panini. So climb back in your kangaroo pouch like a rolling genie. These moves are hot, these locks I got. This power cannot be disputed and it can't be bought. So you can find me in the studio with all these thoughts. You wanna buy my style, but you can't do what you're not, neighbor.
I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it. Got that motherfucking ballin'. You wanna touch it?
Yeah. Next time you come around here with your bitch ass, just remember how my mullet makes your hoes pussy drip, drip, drip.
I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can get no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it. I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can get no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it.
Drip, drip,
Molar moves.
drip,
Molar moves.
drip, drip.
Molar moves. Never gonna cut it.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining me this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we have Mr. Troy Trone on. We've been talking about the paranormal, the supernatural, UFOs, like anything and everything under the paranormal umbrella. But just a little reminder for my friends, fiends, family, and phantoms. If you'd like to vote for me for the Face of Horror, that would be amazing. Go to faceofhorror.org/2022 /Tessa-Thomas-Peterson. That's faceofhorror.org /2022 /Tessa-Thomas-Peterson. Last night I went to check on it because I was going to see what are the prizes again. So it's an interview with Kane Hodder I get to do when I win because I'm going to win. Just kidding. I just have to put it out there. If you can see it, you can achieve it. But it depends on your guys' vote. But an interview with Kane Hodder, a 2-page, which I'm thinking, that's kind of like a centerfold, right? A 2-page of me and Rue Morgue magazine going head-to-head with Jason Voorhees. And then a 2-night stay at Buffalo Bill's house. I think that's where the photo shoot is going to happen too, so maybe that's why they give you the 2-night stay. And then a walk-on role in an independent film, as well as $13,000. If I get $13,000, I'm going to pay my landlord $10,000 and then use the rest towards my cruise to go back to the homeland of Ireland. But yes, please vote for me. That'd be great. Welcome back, Troy, and thanks for coming and hanging out with us and sharing your stories. I love hearing other people's stories. Like, I'm addicted. I think that's why I do this. It costs me a lot of money, but it's worth it.
Yeah, and I was just, my brother was over here, my oldest brother. There's 24 years between me and him. And he was born
Holy
actually
shnikes. And you
a
said your
day
dad was
before
born
I
in
was.
1917. Holy crap.
Yeah. And my brother is in his 80s now. Almost. And he was like, let's see, 80. So, yeah, 24 years. His birthday is July the 27th, and mine is July the 28th. So
That's
he's actually
awesome.
born a day before me in 24 years.
So do you guys like have a barbecue and hang out together? I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
what. That was. I mean, that was the thing. That was the thing. And then we had a sister-in-law that was married to our brother. Her birthday was on July the 29th. They both passed away, but we used to have them all together, you know. So
So
27th,
you guys
28th, and
have
29th.
like the same dad but different moms?
We had the same moms but different dads.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
So
his
where does
dad.
your Native American come from? Is that from your mom's side or your dad's?
That's from my dad's side.
Okay.
I'll have to show you a picture.
Yeah,
He's
I want
got
to see.
he's got the traditional look. He had the black hair and everything, and he had
Nice.
well, you'll see by his nose. You'll be like, yeah,
Yep, definitely native.
yeah, yeah, yeah. 100% can't mistake it. But my like I said, my grandma was half, so I made no. My grandma was full blooded, 3/4, because I remember her saying that her mom had some Irish in her.
Heck
So
yes.
her mom, so she was 3/4, or maybe it was her dad that had Irish in it. I can't remember which one. That's way before I was even thought of the little spermlet. So so I had no idea. But I know my dad. He used to talk, and he knew the language of Osage, and he used to my grandpa.
I love that
My grandpa,
name. Like, where do you know? Never mind. I'll
Missouri,
ask you when you're done. Okay.
Missouri,
Misery.
Missouri, Mississippi, down there. They were the tribe. We were usually bald, except for just a patch of hair on the very back.
Yeah, where the ponytail is.
We were also one of the tallest of the Native American tribes and the largest Native American tribes as body wise.
Nice.
And we were pretty fierce warriors. And then if you punch up Osage, you can read about them. They're pretty unique tribe. And if you punch up the Day now, the Osage had much lighter skin than any of the other Native Americans. They had light skin.
Mm-hmm.
So when you punch up their councils now, it looks like a bunch of white guys.
Yes,
You
what
know,
the hell?
but you notice that because they're all tall. They're
Mhm.
taller than the normal person, you know, and they have the look. And then when they get dressed up, you know, there's no mistaking. But
Yeah, when I think of Irish people, I think little cute people, but my dad, my uncle, even my grandma were super tall. Even my daughter Nova, who I named after my grandma,
right.
she's super tall too. Like I said, when Dave, he can't move, but he's opened his eyes and he'll look at us. So he'll look down at me and the kids, and then he's looking up at Nova. So his eyes are especially open when he looks at her. So I know he's looking at people in the room. I know he's like looking around at people because he's looking down at us and looking up at her. I have the German side of me. I'm short.
Oh yeah, that's well. See, my mom was really short. She was only like 5'8", and
Oh yeah,
she
she's really short. I'm 5'4". My grandma's like
yeah,
5 foot.
yeah.
Yeah, she's super
No,
short.
my
How
no,
tall
no.
are
I'm sorry.
you?
She was
You pro
5'4".
Oh,
My
now
mom was
she's
5'4".
shorter.
Whoop! I lost your voice. Hang on. I'll fix it though.
No, don't touch nothing.
I'm almost there. Ah,
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
yeah, that's better.
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You scared me.
Yeah, I had to plug in. I was almost ready to die, and I didn't want to die on you yet.
Yeah, don't die on me. Shit, there's enough of that going around these days.
I know. But my dad was 5'8", so he wasn't really tall. But his brother was 7.2.
What the hell?
Yeah,
So
and
he got.
my other uncle Mackie, he was 6'9".
Oh my gosh, dude. That is
Yeah,
tall. I thought 6'2" or 6'4" was tall, compared to me because I'm looking up to most everybody.
yeah,
Um,
and the dude's name was Marion, the guy that was like that tall, and nobody made fun of his name for some reason. I don't know why.
I just turned my camera on and off because you're frozen in a certain stasis, and it's funny. When we freeze,
Oh,
it's always okay, there you are. When we freeze, it's always in
it took me a
the
while, but
least spectacular time for us to freeze. It's like the weirdest look on our faces. And everybody's like, "Well, you're frozen and you look pretty fucked up right now."
yeah, exactly. But it's weird because this phone does it to me every once in a while. It'll freeze up,
Well, you're
and
back,
I
so
don't
that's
know
good.
if my location is that the little ships outside that are running around my house constantly. And speaking of which, I was going to tell you that around this area, from the south to the east to the north, there are three different types of things up in the sky, way up there. We're talking about, in the stratosphere.
Yeah, kind of
That
stellarly.
are, and they have those same lights you were talking about, like green, red, and bluish lights,
Mm-hmm.
and they flash and they don't move. But it's weird because one will flash certain flashes, then I'll look around and I'll see another one, and it'll have a different kind of flash, like they're communicating
Yeah.
without. Yeah, and That's been happening for the last 4 years since I've been here. So it's and is it a coincidence? I think not. I mean, there's it's just too weird how things pop around.
It's
Now
crazy
I
the
was
different ones
telling you
I've
about that.
seen. Go ahead
What's
and put
that?
the phone back where it was, because getting a little bit of feedback. But yeah, it's crazy the different crafts that I've seen. Like I said, there was the orb
If I
one.
can- yeah.
That was the very first one that I saw that was going at a walking pace along my fence line, and that was right after Floyd was born, and I was breastfeeding, and I saw him coming down the line, and so I put him down. I ran over there. I tried to flip open my phone and get to camera mode, but I couldn't. Like, I was just too distressed. I couldn't get it figured out. So instead, I called Vern and the kids, Nova and Kinsey, over. Nova and Kinsey saw the same thing I saw, but Vern saw like a globe with a really large bat flapping its wings at a very slow rate of speed, because you know how fast they flap their wings, pretty fast. And it's just like, what kind of shield is that?
Was that was it kind of like Oh, I'm trying to think of those. Did it look like a stingray kind of flying, except the way the wings were on it?
I don't know what he saw. He just said it looked like a bat that was flapping its wings at a very slow rate of speed. What me and the girls saw was an orb that looked like it was filled with lava or something. It was a red, orange, and yellow going in a counterclockwise motion.
Ooh, when you said that, have you ever seen or heard about the fire in the sky?
Yes,
Sure, you have.
Travis Walton, your friend's story that you
Yes,
were
he
telling me.
described the same thing you just described. He said
I
it looked
almost
like
went out
molten
there.
lava.
Yeah, I opened the door, I stepped out, and as soon as I stepped out, I was like, I have kids. I don't know what this thing's intention is, so I'm just gonna step back in. So I stepped out and I sat there and thought about it, stepped back in, closed the door, and we just continued to watch it go. I think had I gone up to it, might have been abducted, might have been dissipated from this planet. I don't know. I don't know what its
That's
purpose was.
funny.
Had it been green or something, I would have been like, hey, what's up? Because I heard green is like the healers of whatever that realm is. Like they heal people from cancer. And Kat, my friend, she was always looking for the green ones. But yeah, I saw that one and it had like, it looked like lava or liquid hot magma in it. It was just
Yeah,
going in a
like a liquid
counterclockwise.
flowing around it. Yeah,
Yes.
yes,
And it was
I've
about
seen those.
this big.
And a sphere, totally round.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've seen those. I've seen those in binoculars looking up at the sky way up there.
The first time I saw it, I was pregnant with Floyd. I think Floyd and Lily they got some alien or something going on there because they almost got abducted. But the first time I ever saw one was in 2012, and it followed us all the way from the bike rally in Ignacio. I had to take the kids and get them back home because they used to shut down the rally at a certain time. They don't do it anymore because they fucked it up, but it followed us all the way from Ignacio to Bayfield, and the kids are like, Mom, look, there's this ball in the sky following us." And I'm like, "I can't look, I'm driving." But once I got to the stop sign here in Bayfield from Rainbow Road, I stopped there and I got out of my Torino and I looked up, and I was about 40 feet in the air, so it looked a lot smaller than it did by the fence line, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the same size craft. I don't know if it was the same one or what, but saw it up in the sky and I was like, "What the fuck?" It was just hovering there, probably waiting to follow us home. I don't know, but that was so strange. And Nova was freaking out. She's like, "Mom, don't do it. Mom, don't do it. Don't get out. Don't get out." She was afraid for me to get out and look, and I'm like, "I want to see what the fuck this is." And yeah, that's the first time I ever saw a UFO. I always believed in it because my dad, he'd talk about it. He believed in it, so I believed in it. But it wasn't until 2012 that I saw one. And then after that, it's been on like Donkey Kong. It's been crazy.
And see, that's what's so trippy. My dad never talked about UFOs. He's always told me things that I thought he was losing his mind, but in fact, they actually came to reality. Back in and I can remember this like it was yesterday, 1972, 1971. We were sitting in the house, and we lived in a farm. We had to haul our water. We had to break up coal, all that kind of stuff. We had a system. We had an outhouse.
Where were you guys at that time?
We were living in Cajon, Colorado.
Wow. Okay.
And you know where Cajon is.
Yeah.
You blink and you've already
Yeah.
missed it.
You're like, where?
Yeah, I mean, 2 houses, I think. We lived out in the suburbs, so we were way out there. But anyhow, we were talking, and he goes, "Son, they're going to make a small handheld TV that you'll be able to communicate to anybody you want to in the whole world."
Oh my
And he told
gosh.
me that in 1972, way before they were even thinking about that. The same man. Have you ever seen the old show Buck Rogers in the 25th Century?
Mm-hmm.
You see the space shuttle? That book was printed out in the early 50s or 60s, way before the space shuttle was even invented. But it's kind of funny how the spaceship that Buck Rogers was in resembles identically the space shuttle in the 80s and 90s.
Now look at
And
what Elon Musk is doing. That's insane. It's going up, and then it's coming back down and landing. Weird.
right, it is weird. And there's just so many different things that he told me about that I thought he just and talked about small, tiny radios that was no bigger than a stick of gum and maybe twice as thick. But how did he know about these things?
Right?
I'll tell you. He dabbled in ESP a lot. He could set stuff up, and I've seen him do it with a pendulum. He could set it up, and he could stare at it and tell him, move left or right or yes or no, and he'd get that pendulum to move.
That's
Yes.
like Vern's dad too. Oh my gosh. And it
What's
wasn't
that?
Vern's dad had an
Yes.
accident, and after that he was having visions. He knew when earthquakes was going to happen in California and stuff, and he'd use that pendulum on a map, and that thing would point like, here's where the treasure is, and the treasure could be like some sort of sword or a belt buckle or something from soldiers. Like there was a lot of wars in this area. We actually live on a battlefield right here. But he found so much stuff. Oh my goodness.
Well, that's what I was getting at. You kind of hit the nail on the head. My dad was out hunting with my grandfather way back in the day, and they were up by Norwood. That's where my dad's from, Norwood, Colorado. And my dad got struck by lightning.
Oh my goodness. And that's when it started happening?
That's why I was like, when you said about that, about Vern's dad having an accident, and that, I was like, that's exactly where I was going with that, is that my dad was up in the mountains, got struck by lightning, closed a leaf in his heart, a valve in his heart. They had to reopen it. It almost killed him because he got hit, direct hit,
Wow.
and survived.
Did it burn
Blew
his,
his
like, his feet and
toenails out.
stuff? Yeah.
And then right after that, he joined the Army. Well, he got drafted. Him and his buddies were driving down the road. He told me he seen what he thought was a wolf that was supposed to be extinct.
Oh, one of those dire wolves, like the really big
that's
ones.
what, yeah, that's it. Ran across the road. His buddy lost control, swerved. They wrecked. My dad's jaw hit the dashboard. Back then, it was metal. It wasn't plastic.
It wasn't very friendly.
Scattered all of his teeth at the age of 25. He's only 25 years old, and he lost all of his teeth.
Was he married?
He got new ones.
Okay. I was like, hopefully he was married, because that'd be hard.
Yeah, well, at 25, that was hard, But back then, I told him, did they make him out of wood? He laughed. He goes, no, I wasn't that old.
Not like Washington.
Washington had them made out of wood, right? Yeah, but, hey, Woody.
What's up, Woody?
I just lost a bunch of my teeth, too, so. But
I just went in for a cleaning, and holy shit, like, okay, I'm pretty sure I had a stroke when I had my first daughter, and then when I went in, I felt like I was there again because I smiled, and I'd be talking and stuff, and I ended up biting my lip. I don't know when, because I didn't feel it. But yeah, part of my face was just totally dead for at least 2 hours. I hated it.
A couple of inmates' foot took away most of my teeth, chipped them in. Yeah, cell extractions, they're richest. But yeah, that's how I lost some of my teeth. Probably about 40% of them.
Did your insurance cover that or no? They're like, sorry, guy.
Oh yeah.
Hope you come to work tomorrow.
Yeah, they did. They still take care of it, but they didn't want to pull them right away. They wanted to save them as much as they could. So I suffered for about another 15 years, and finally, this last year, I'm like, take them out. They hurt. I brush them all the time. They hurt. They hurt because they were all crooked, and they just never straightened them back out or braced them up. They just no, they're going to heal fine because that was during the Obama years. So,
Bama, market.
Yeah, but that's okay. I make crazy boater noises when I stick my head out the window, going about 65.
Just like a mastiff.
My lips just flap away. No teeth to hold them back no more. So.
I even tried to put on lipstick, and like I could see where my lips are, but I couldn't feel it. So it was like, that commercial where that old lady's like putting on her lipstick, and she's like, "Is it on straight?" Yeah. Even though I could see it, forget about it. I'm like, nope, never mind. I'm just gonna wipe that shit off. This was huge over here, and this was just going along the line. I'm like, fuck that, dude.
Oh, they gave me this. I remember this one dentist. I went in. He gave me this little tiny round pill to calm my nerves down. Oh. I mean, it was the smallest, tiniest, because I'm like, I was super scared of dentists. I've always been frightened.
Was it like Xanax or something? No, Xanax is blue, huh?
Yeah, and this was a little white pill, and I was just going in to get a root canal done. This is when I still had teeth, but had a bad tooth, and I was going to get it done. and I was freaking out because I didn't go to dentists. I seen what dentists did, you know.
After the military, I was just like, I'm good.
I watched Little House. What is that?
Little House on the Prairie.
No, yeah, Little House on the Prairie. I just got to watching that tonight. In fact, how funny.
Dang.
Yeah, and then I just what was that? Little Shop of Horrors. That dentist, you know what? That part of the dentist freaked me out. I know it was comical, but it freaked me out because he wanted something dull, you know, and yeah, I just and I could feel him doing that. So
now I don't know why my
freaking out.
canine tooth hurts
Yeah.
all of a sudden. Why?
I wasn't like Bill Murray, like, oh, give me some more, you know. But it was like, don't do this. And so he says, I'm going to give you this little pill. He gave me the little pill. I woke up home. Don't know how I got there. I'm sure my wife picked me up, or my girlfriend picked me up, or something. But I don't remember the whole dinner, nothing. I'm like, wow, that's the miracle pill.
That is dangerous. That's why now these days they'll make somebody drive you home because they're like, we're going to give you this and we need somebody to drive you home because you might not come out of it. Back in the day, I guess they didn't really care. They're like, bye, have a good time, make it home safely.
Then when I went and got these pulled, I go, are you going to give me something? He goes, yeah, we're going to give you some laughing gas. And I'm like,
I've never had that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Give me no laughing gas. This shit's going to be, I'm going to be out or I'm going to knock you out.
Give me the laughing gas and then do the shots and then we're good.
Yeah. Give it to me after I wake up. I can use a good rush.
Right. Good laugh on the way home.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was weird because when you get your teeth first pulled out, it hurts after the anesthesia wears off. And then when you start healing, you go, well, I'm good. I can eat anything. And you see this little luscious, beautiful, prime grape that you just know it's going to be so.
You can't taste it.
You stick it in your mouth and it shoots out like a fucking revolver because it's like fucking rubber, girl. It's rubber on rubber. I mean, it's like,
shit.
And you're like, what the hell? Maybe it's a defaulted bite, and you try it again, and it doesn't get, you have no control. It did fly out everywhere.
Well, that was like my last dentist appointment. Like, okay, so I didn't have an energy drink because every morning, that's one of the first things I do. I'll either have a protein shake or I'll do an energy drink because I need to wake the fuck up. But every time I go in there, they're like, your blood pressure is really high. Like, maybe you're just stressed out because of this appointment, or maybe you ran into the office or whatever. I'm like, no, I had a sugar-free Monster, and pretty sure that's what it was. And so this last time I didn't do it, and my blood pressure was good. I had to test it to see, am I having some blood pressure issues or what? But yeah, it's the Monster that does that. So maybe I should stop doing that, but I can't. I have to have my caffeine, my cafe.
But I mean, that was the strangest thing I've pulled. It was weird. And
my dad, he got all of his teeth pulled. I think I got my mom's teeth, but my dad had bad teeth. I don't know if it was the years of coke or drinking or bad diet or what the fuck it was, but he had to get all of his teeth pulled. And I remember picking them up and you just can smell the blood.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that. And then it was a program called The Friend of Man, and this is in Cortez. The Friend of Man. They'll pay for your dentures. I don't know if he might have gone to a different person. He might have got better teeth. But I laughed so hard when he put those in because he looked like a motherfucking, what are those called on Star Wars? The little furry guys? I want to say Mogwai. It's not a Mogwai.
Not a Mogwai. Not like Chewbacca, is it?
No, not Chewbacca.
Oh,
like
you're talking about those floppy-eared
with the
looking guys?
Yeah, they have like the leather things and their ears poking out, and they got those like big chiclet teeth, kind of like Toby Keith.
And they bow down to the CP3O because he's gold. Those guys, huh?
You can't understand what the fuck they're saying.
Called? Ewoks.
Ewoks, yes. He looked like a motherfucking Ewok. Like, it looked like he was from Britain or something. He had like the British teeth, and I was like, "What the fuck, Dad? The fuck? You go to Britain and came back with all these teeth like that, those chiclet teeth."
Well, the dentist was generous. He did save 4 of my teeth. I have 4 of my original teeth left.
Oh, thank
Thank
God.
God. And he put him down here, so now I look like my bulldog.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I know, and it's like, is that a
Thanks,
coincidence,
Doc.
or are you just doing that on purpose? You know.
Yeah.
But so
You should
unfortunately, I
try
have 4
Dr.
teeth.
Johnson. Who's your dentist? Dr. Johnson. I believe it is Johnson. Dixie. No, it's Dr. Moore.
Dr. Moore. Actually, I've already got my dentist coming. I went to Access, and it was, what was her name? Dr. Brown, DDS Brown, and she's really good. Although I've had my teeth pulled out since March, and I have not received any dentures yet.
Yeah, you have to have that healing process, and it takes time. You know, especially New Mexico seems a lot busier than our area as far as like getting shit like that done. But
she went on maternity leave too, so that put a little gap in the time frame.
right.
Yeah. So, but when she came back, she's really nice, and it's pretty cool because she's taking pictures. She goes, "You're my model. I'm going to make you look so handsome when I get done."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Keep stroking it, lady. Keep stroking it."
Stroke me.
You know, I'm getting pissed because I can't eat a chip without taking like 35 minutes to grind it up. Yeah, no, yeah, on the little.
Yeah, right there.
I have nothing on top, so it's got to hit the gum. You know, got to be careful.
Sorry.
Chips are dangerous.
That's all right. They're all stabby and shit. Stabby chips.
Vegetables are a bitch.
Yeah.
You ever tried to eat broccoli without no teeth? I'll tell you what. If you can do that, you have some massive skills.
I'm pretty.
You're a worthy opponent.
Yeah. I lost one tooth when I was 16. I had a temporary filling that fell out because I was chewing gum watching a volleyball game, and good Lord, I went to school. My face was like this. It was like a hamster storing food. You know, part of my face was all swollen up. Everybody's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. This shit hurts." But they pulled that tooth, and the only other tooth I had pulled was my wisdom tooth. So, 3 out of 4, not bad. Pretty wise, motherfuckers. No.
Well, speaking of dentures, brings me to a story about my brother-in-law, which is married to my sister that passed away, and he passed away before her. But his name was Red, and he was in the Navy. He was the chief mechanic for nuclear subs.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, he worked in nuclear, after he got out of the military, he worked in nuclear plants overseas everywhere.
Making that money.
Oh, yeah, he made good money. And when he came back, he got really sick. He was having many strokes and stuff. And he had a hole in his esophagus that didn't know. And everything he was eating was going into his lungs.
Holy shit.
Yeah, all his medications.
So did he have
food.
like some sort of radiation or?
They don't know. They think nuclear activities, you know, that he did.
I'm thinking they were paid off.
Anyway, he was in the hospital. I would probably say it's probably from the military, because he dealt with a lot of nuclear stuff. And I mean, you're way down, you know, 4 miles underneath the ocean, underwater, 5 miles underwater, whatever it is, floating around, and in a machine that's filled with nuclear freaking capabilities that actually powers the engine. And being in the engine room, you know, I don't even think Captain Stubing would go there. You know what I mean?
Right. That's always the worst place on any ship, is in that area. when it comes to sinkings. Okay, we hear about the Titanic, but there was another ship that was bigger than the Titanic, and it was up there in the Chicago area, and it was going willy-nilly back and forth, flipped over, killed tons of people because, those girls back in the day had layers and layers and layers upon layers of dress and, the thing that makes your butt look good and all those other things. You can't swim in that shit. So it was mostly women and children that died because they didn't know how to swim. Nobody even knows about that freaking ship accident. It's
Oh,
insane.
I
There
know.
was more
The-
lives lost on that one than the Titanic. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? What
There's
is
been a lot of shipwrecks in the Great Lakes that never been reported.
It's insane. Why? It's so fucking crazy. Oh, you went out to the ocean, so we're going to talk about you all the time. What about these guys in the Great Lakes? The Great Lakes, oh my gosh, there's something about that area to me that's
Well,
very, very paranormal or supernatural or whatever you want to call it. There's something weird and funky about it.
I was watching a documentary on the History Channel a while back, and they were talking about the Devil's Triangle on Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have the same kind of phenomenon going on in Michigan or in the Great Lakes. The same, they have a triangle there. They also
There's
have
a
a
Dragon's
triangle,
Triangle.
and the Dragon Triangle. Yeah, that's in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my brother lives in Okinawa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I just
That's
discovered I'm
one of
part
my other brothers.
Oriental.
Yeah, he always tells me, you need to come visit me. Oh, whoops. I'm back.
Okay, there you are. I wasn't going
It
to say
scared me.
anything. Yeah.
No,
I'm like,
well,
oh
somebody was
shit.
calling me, and I don't know why.
Oh, because they love you.
Yeah, but I was really kind of freaked out when I realized there was all these triangles going on, and it's weird because on the same channel that night they were talking about octopus. That octopuses are actually aliens. They're not from this world.
They are
There's
so
no lineage.
intelligent. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure they are. And like you were talking about those lights coming from the ground and stuff, it's like, oh, the aliens are here, they're coming from the sky. What about the fact that I believe they've been here all along?
Oh yeah, I think in our oceans, because we've only discovered 10%, maybe 5% of it. If
They
that.
went down there and looked, and then they're like, fuck that, we're going to space.
Well, yeah.
Something
Well,
down
they
there
can
scared
hide
them.
down there. All the canyons. There's canyons twice and 3 times the size of Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
They can hide down there. If they got technology that can go from 300, 400 miles an hour straight down and right into the water without even losing speed and picking up speed, they can go way, way, way
What are
down.
they called? USOs?
Uh,
Unidentified submerged objects?
yeah, that's what they're called. Submerged
And I think it
objects.
was like
UFOs.
Lake Titicaca. They were talking about this UFO showed up and it was like right above the water and it took the water down about 4 inches. Could you imagine how much fucking water that is? That's a lot of fucking water.
Well, see, I was in I don't know if you know where Escondido, California is.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego, Oceanside, that area.
Yeah, my grandma lives in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
Escondido.
Oh, there you go. I was in a little town called Carlsbad in between Escondido and I think
When you were
Oceanside.
talking about El Cajon, Colorado, the girl that used to call herself my sister before she fucked me over, now she says her name is Sarah Peterson. I don't know where she gets that, but she came from El Cajon, California. Dirty bitch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend from El Cajon, California, too.
He
His
probably
name is
knows
Terry.
her.
But there's a little lagoon that ports off the ocean, and there's just a little kind of freshwater lagoon. Then it goes into the ocean and gets salty. But I've seen lights in that lagoon underneath the water that were, enormous, and I'd see them, and it looked like they'd go in the moss and disappear, or they go real deep, or they'd go into a hole or something. But you'd see them, and then they would just slowly disappear, and the light would fade, like somebody unplugged it slowly, you know.
Sorry, the hellhounds are restless.
But so it's weird stuff like that's followed me all my life. I've
Well,
always
and
seen strange stuff.
now they have satellites and it's showing, projections of the earth and the water and all this stuff, and people are seeing things in the water, or, up in the Antarctic, there's a lot of stuff up there too. Holy shit. What is the problem? I'm gonna have to yell at them on break here pretty soon. Um But yeah, it's amazing. A lot of the sightings that have been released from, I don't know if it's Air Force or the Navy naval pilots, but they saw that little tic tac and they said it looked like it was kind of thrashing around in the water because the water was doing this, but the object was really not moving. And then it was just like skittering across the water and hitting these waves and everything, not breaking the speed, still doing the same speed, and they'll just go into the water. There's not a big old splash or anything. It's so freaking weird. I don't know. I think they've been here all along, and I'm not sure if we were seated or not, but kind of seems like it, right?
Right, right. Well, in that same area where I seen those submerged objects, we would go out there sometimes and we go night fishing. And when we go night fishing, we see these. I guess, what they're actually a real thing, but they're called ball lightning. And
I've seen
they
that.
were.
Very
Have you
different than
seen
that
that?
orb I saw. Yeah. I saw that in not Tulsa. Shit. It's not Springdale, it's shit. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it, but where I used to live as a kid, Siloam Springs, Arkansas.
Was
And
it close
there
to
was
water?
no, but there was a storm. The storm happened and it knocked out the energy. And so we had no power or anything, so we were all kind of like huddled up in the living room in a circle, and we're telling ghost stories and different things. I was raised on horror. I love it. But my mom said, "Look." And so we looked out the window, and across the dirt road up on there was a mound and it went into this cow field. There was a power line. And right at the T of the power line, there was this ball lightning. And I guess they're attracted to noise. It flew towards our house, smack like that, on the concrete porch. Then it came up through our living room floor. And my mom was covering my mouth because I guess I used to be a chatty little Kathy. I guess I still am sometimes. But she covered my mouth because I wouldn't quit talking, and you have to be quiet because it's attracted to you. And my brother had gone down the hallway to get the linens out of the dryer, and he came back out from the laundry room in the hallway, and this thing was in that area. It was in kind of like the dining room kitchen area, right there where the hallway was, and it heard him moving or whatnot, and it shot right towards him, and he just collapsed on the floor, and it hit the back wall, and it was gone. But that was freaky. That is supernatural, I think. Not like the other orb I saw. This was like a
Yeah.
flaming ball, not a magma in a ball. It was a flaming ball.
Yeah. See, the one I seen, it looked like it looked like a regular soap bubble with dye dripped into it,
Oh
and
shit.
it was like a blue swirl, and it was just swirl, but it was floating, and it would just float away and dissipate in the distance. But at the same time, I was back. Where was I? Oh, I hitchhiked from Phoenix, Arizona to Palm Beach, Florida.
Holy shit. That's a
Yeah,
long
I was on a
ways.
mission. I was on a mission. It took me 5 days to get there and 3 days to get back
Damn.
because I must. That white wolf must have brought me a lot of luck because going there, I got a bus
So that was
ticket
after you
handed
saw
to
the
me.
white wolf?
Well, yeah, basically, yeah, it
Nice.
was. In fact, I didn't ever thought about that, but yeah, because I was with Wanda Carpenter then, and yeah, because she's the one that went with me. We both did checked out there, but we got a bus ticket, which was really cheap. It was like $79 for all the way out there, one way.
Can't beat that with a stick.
So we got out there, hated it, because it was right after Andrew.
Hurricane
not too long
Andrew.
after Andrew, the hurricane hit.
Yeah.
So we get down there and there's a pile of wood at the beach, So I'm like, well, this is not very attractive. This is not all tropical like I
This
thought.
is not the paradise I was expecting. This is trash.
Yeah. So we went to a Denny's there, and this big old guy, he was huge. Thought he was going to tear my head off. And he walked up to us and says, "You guys, God just told me that you guys needed help." And I'm like, huh? And he goes, "I'll tell you what. Here's $100, and
And your
in the
meal is
morning,
free.
if you're still here, I'll give you a ride." I'm hauling a bunch. He was in the semi, and he was going to I think from Palm Beach all the way to El Paso City.
Damn.
So I'm like, we're on it, And he gave me a ride there. And he asked me if I'd help him tarp up his truck with bungees, because he had probably, I don't know, 9 billion bungees. I'm thinking, oh, bungees? Hell, that's easy. I was never so sore in my life. And if you let go one end of that bungee, it will pop you.
Yeah, you could lose an eye. It's serious business.
It looked like I was beaten with a whip time I got done. And he gave me another $100 for doing that.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Then
You
he
guys
talked to
were
one of his
blessed.
buddies that knew a guy that he was leaving from El Paso, and he'd be going into Farmington, New Mexico. That's where
That's perfect.
So that's where we ended up. And it only took me 3 days to get back. So I thought that was pretty good timing.
Damn. Hey, well, on that note, I hate to interrupt, but we do have to go to our second music break.
Okay.
On this break, we have our artist. He is going to be singing Talk the Hills. He's also going to be singing Silicone Wave, talking about his fake-ass girlfriend. They're doing a lot of that over in Japan these days. It's kind of weird. Jeff Hilliard is his name. He's from, I believe, San Diego area, California. And he's going to be singing Good Life, which, oh my gosh, when he played this character, I was like, how the fuck did you do that? I guess they gave him, these dental, things that he put over his teeth, but it totally made him look like a crackhead. If you guys haven't seen the video, you gotta check it out. Then we have Miss Mia Savage, who is our snowbird. She's originally from Phoenix, but she lives here in the Bayfield area. And she's going to be singing Lumerian Crypto. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
I just got a package, I can't wait to get home. I spent all day tracking the shipment on my phone, all that she was lacking. I ordered custom, I can't wait to get some. Take it to the bedroom, bitches always nagging. Now I got the air, I send the bitches packing. Going my way, I have a new attraction. Don't care what you say, it's better in every way. Now baby, it's time to play. We're gonna make us a tape and show everyone the way. Cause I'm going my own way, riding up Silicone Wave. Home seat on the cave with my new real dog. I'm gonna play. Just second grade to my Silicone Wave. She is here to stay. She's my new real dog, and it's time to play. She don't need expensive
attention, cause I'm calling my way, riding up Silicon Way. I see all the game with my new real dog. I'm gonna play just second grade to my Silicon Way. She is here to stay. She's my new real dog, and it's time to play. With my new real dog, I'm gonna play. She's my new real dog, and it's time to play.
The woman of my dreams.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Fais-moi l'amour.
Je suis amoureux.
Je pense toujours à
Enchanté,
tous les champs,
ma chérie. Mon
tous les
frère
champs,
dans une hostie.
tous
Ils étaient le nipple.
les champs. Fais-moi l'amour.
It's like living on a super yacht, making love to a robot. It's like owning a football team, but having sex with the robot. It's like winning an Oscar and Emmy and Grammy when you're fucking a robot. It's like saving a family with a newborn from a fire, but you're fucking a robot.
Hey, you got a cigarette? Hey, you help a guy out with some spare change. Anything will do, man. God bless. Can I just get your change? I missed the bus. I got this 6 right. I'm not an animal. Moving like a steak knife.
This is the good life.
Dancing in the moonlight.
I wanna be inside of you. We got plenty to do till the 1:45, and I know you want
be my crypto? Take me to your leader or leave me alone. Somebody please take me out. Rest of time. Rest of time. Here. Do you speak my language? Not if you know. Can you read my crypto? Take me to your leader or leave me alone. Somebody please take me out. Breathing in the water, drowning in the air. Breathing in the water, drowning in the air. There is no time. There's no time. There's no time. Do you speak my language? Not if you know. Can you read my crypto? Take me to your leader or leave me alone. Somebody please take me home. Do you speak my language? Not if you know. Can you read my crypto? Take me to your leader or leave me alone. Somebody please take me out. Rest of time. There is no time here.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we have Mr. Troy Trone and his hellhounds. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining me and hanging out with me. It's been awesome so far.
Yes, it's been great. Great. I was going to tell you about a little story that happened to my family in a little town outside of Farmington. It's called a little Bloomfield.
Mm-hmm.
You probably heard of it.
Yeah, you
Back in the
go
day,
south, and there's a little highway that goes down there.
yeah,
We
and
actually
then you
did an
got
investigation down
Navajo
there.
Lake right there.
Yeah, there was a house
In
where,
Bloomfield?
yeah, this chick, she's like, I think I'm possessed, and I think there's different spirits, and oh my god, there was a ton of shit down there. But she also
Yeah.
had things that she didn't take care of, like psychologically, so it was a lot to do with that. Like, even though she was at this certain age, she had the maturity level of a teenager, and so it was like that, like where things will attack people because of things that she was thinking. And she didn't realize it because she wasn't healing. And we even told her, like, you need to go see a counselor, get healed, get some stuff going and realize some
That's
stuff.
your own demon. That's
Yeah.
what they
And
call
then her
your own
husband
demon.
called us back like a year later. He's like, no, it's even worse. And I'm like, did you guys do what we told you to do? No. Sorry. We can't help you. If
Yeah,
you don't listen to
I
our
mean,
guidance, there's nothing we can do for you.
right, and that's true. You know, it's but in I guess it was Bloomfield. There's a little town a little further down called Blanca. Blanca.
Yes.
That is where my grandpa came on my mom's side. Came down there and was doing some work and stuff. And he's out there in the fields. I don't know exactly what they were working on, but it was out there where a little bit of sagebrush was, and he seen this reptile that
Dude.
stood on his own 2 feet and
Mm-hmm.
ran upright.
Yep.
And he wrote a book. My grandpa, Charles Ayers, you could probably Google it. He wrote a book and he describes that lizard-like thing in two different places. He's seen it once in Mississippi and once in Blanco.
You know what's crazy? You were talking about an area near Dove Creek. There was a
Mm-hmm.
lady from Dove Creek that shared a picture, and it showed the dirt road, and then it showed the grass growing above it, and there was a little tiny fucking T-Rex fucking thing there. I believe dinosaurs still exist. Yes, they're a lot smaller than they used to be, but I think they're still here. And like you were saying earlier about the T-bird, the Thunderbirds still exist too.
Oh yeah, and I think what that they're seeing is a branch off in one of those pterodactyls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it possibly be. You
Yeah,
know, it could be
because the head
a
looks like
later
a
model.
pterodactyl, but I think it's got, well, I could say it's got more feathers than it did before, but who knows if it had feathers or not.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
everything is
really,
permealized.
they came to the conclusion that dinosaurs did have feathers because they have bumps on them, like chickens.
Mm-hmm.
When you pluck a chicken, and of course, if you're burnt or melted down, you lose your feathers and you become bumps. I wonder if that's where they got chickenpox from. But anyway,
Right?
right.
Or
I mean, who
goosebumps?
knows? Yeah, there you go, goosebumps. But in that same scenario, my brother seen the same kind of critter over in Box Canyon, and you know where Box Canyon is,
Yes.
and he seen the same kind of critter, jumped off on two legs and ran. I mean, it was walking on two legs to begin with, but when it really started running, it arched back, way back, and that tail came out straight, and it ran like hell.
Yeah, dude, I'm serious. They say that dinosaurs extinct. There's certain things they say are extinct or endangered or whatever. Seriously, they're still
Oh yeah,
there.
well yeah,
And they're just smaller.
it's like that giant fish that they caught off on the coast of Africa that was supposed to be extinct for 10 million years,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually was alive, and they're still
You're like, what the
having it.
fuck?
They're swimming around. Yeah. So imagine what was only in the ocean. I mean, can you imagine what Loch Ness really is? Maybe it is a platysaurus or something that had flippers.
Well, I'm wondering too, like, is this thing able to self-inhabit as far as like I can seed my own eggs or whatnot? Because there's more than just one these days. And
Right.
yes, there was a hoax back in the day, and yes, it was proven because we can see it at the bottom of the Loch Ness. But
Right.
Nessie is still fucking swimming around. Have you heard about kind of the same thing in Vicedo? There's something
I
in
haven't heard about
Vicedo.
that, but I have heard about Lake Champlain,
Yeah?
Lake Champlain, and Canada.
Yeah.
They have a uh, some kind of a creature up there too that resembles the Loch Ness. And like you were saying, can they reproduce on their own? Well, if a
I think
worm
after a
can,
period of time they can, yeah.
yeah. I mean, nature has a way to self-sustain itself. It always makes a way to keep things going, and that's just nature. That's why they call it nature. You know, because it self evolves all the time. This Earth has self evolved over billions and billions and billions and billions. And you don't even want to get me started how old I think this
Oh
Earth
my
is. I think it's
god.
so old that people don't realize that we've already had all this before and have lost it over and over again because of our fighting, our
And our
anger. Well, it's
ignorance.
like, yeah, I mean, half the time I'm thinking with the way they're finding stuff on Mars now, if we didn't really used to live on Mars, blew it up, caused the atmosphere, and then we got dropped off here. We got dumb
That
and
that's
stupid.
what I thought. Like, there was that war. We took a shuttle to Earth, and that's where we've lived since. I think we are Martians.
I
Or we're
think so too.
seated here some way or another. You know what I mean?
Because eventually, just like say, eventually, if we were like that and we flew here, Earth was probably inhabited with other creatures like us, but not quite like us, like the Neanderthal. Well, they just found a
That's my
new
Cuddy.
skull.
That's my hairy Cuddy. I love you.
That's that's right. Me and him used to, go out and do some fishing, but
Yeah, let's go fishing.
pole jumping. Yeah, we're doing
I know
pole
he's
jumping.
gonna do better than me. He's just gonna be grabbing them out of the river, and I'm gonna be like, "Mine ain't anything biting.
Yeah,
I caught this
exactly.
dead fish, and you caught all these live
Um,
fish. What the fuck?"
but they did find a new skull of a not human, but not ape. It's crossed between early
It's a
ape,
hybrid.
yeah, and they're coming to find out that somebody has spliced our genes together, and we have we have what they call the God gene in our DNA.
Well,
It's an
I am
unknown
part the
gene.
other sound, like ooga booga.
You are. They
I
found that
am.
almost, yeah. Everybody that exists now has some degree of Neanderthal DNA in
Not
them.
everybody, because I have a lot of family members that aren't, but I am. And I'm like,
Well,
yeah.
most
I was here
most of
before
my
you
family
bitches.
members have hairy knuckles, so I'm
I
thinking
don't
hairy
have hairy
knuckles, no teeth,
knuckles, but I do have hairy big
big nose.
toes.
Uh, that would work. I mean,
Yeah. I
can
have to
you reach
shave my
around
toes.
branches with them?
I can throw rocks with my toes.
Well, that's pretty damn close. No, that's
Yeah. And
deadly.
I can pinch people.
Ouch.
Yeah. They don't like it.
See there? Yeah, that's a nasty Neanderthal habit.
It's like, I don't even have to use my fingers. I'm just going to use my toes. My kids
You
are like,
see that stupid
yay!
phone just froze up again on me now. It's going sideways.
It's
Okay,
all
here we
right.
go.
I'm on a roller coaster.
Ta
Roller
ta.
coaster of
And did it
love.
work?
Say one. Roller coaster.
Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Can I hear you?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Nope. Are you doing that on purpose? You're not.
No, I'm talking right now.
Okay. Just making sure. But that would
Uh,
have been funny if you were, though. I have to admit, I would have
I
to
could be
laugh.
like,
Um, let me see.
I seriously am talking. Hopefully you come back. Holy shnikes. It's so weird, like the
Okay,
phone falling and
there we go.
okay, you're back.
I don't know
Yay!
why I can't turn on my sound unless it disappears, unless the picture disappears. It's stupid, but that's what I get for buying an Apple. So,
So we're talking about the roller coaster of love. Do you ever wear a sock on your penis? Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
oh yeah. You
You do
know,
the
that's
helicopter?
here's a good question. How come when we're born, some people are born with tails?
I don't know. See, my son, he was born with two thumbs. He didn't have a tail, but
Yeah,
he had two thumbs. And all the doctors are like, you gotta get rid of it. You gotta get rid of it because he's gonna get bullied. I'm like, you know what, motherfucker? All my kids, to this day, have been bullied for one fucking reason or another. So, no, go fuck yourself because if I chop it off, he's gonna have to go in time after time after time to get it done because that little nubbin is still gonna be growing.
but see,
If
I think
he,
it'd be
yeah,
cool to have a second thumb.
Yeah, dude, like he could be like the best football player, like quarterback or whatever, or he
I
could
mean,
be
if you
an
wanted to
awesome
bitch slap
basketball
somebody,
player.
just imagine you'd have maximum,
Oh yeah,
maximum, yeah.
really
That,
smack that jaw at a joint.
but there's a guy I think in India reported to have 7 toes and 6 fingers,
Yeah, Floyd has 6 fingers on his
and
right hand and 5 on all the other appendages.
yeah, and that's weird because they say that it's not a deformity.
Well, I even heard like, okay, so I don't
It
know if
was
you know who Spooky Boo is, but she was talking about, oh, well, my pinky toes and my pinkies are receding, so I'm the one that is moving beyond. And her brother's like, no, sister, you don't know this, but we're actually growing extra fingers and extra whatever. Okay, so you know how the whole thing goes with how, would they put their hand up to say hello? They're
right,
not doing that to say hello. They're doing that to see, are you human or are you alien?
exactly. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes,
I
especially
mean,
after I was doing the security gig and I was like, talking to my kids about my dreams. They're talking to me about their dreams. And then my kids go into this whole fucking thing of, Mom, last night. Okay, so at first it started with Lily. She's like, Mom, last night I had this dream. There was a UFO that landed in the backyard. And it opened up, and these aliens came out, and they came and they got me, and they were taking me and brother back to the ship. And then we were going up this little walkway, whatever, and then it was closing, and Floyd jumped out, so I jumped out. And she's like, and then I was running, and Floyd tripped. And Floyd's like, I didn't trip. You tripped. And I was over like a root or something in the yard. And they started arguing about it. And then they finally got past that, but then she's like, do you remember you jumped on that alien's head? And he's like, yeah, that was so funny. And they were so fucking proud of themselves and they were so strong. Oh my God, I'm so proud of them because could you imagine if they had taken them wherever they wanted to? Like, they didn't accept that Floyd jumped out, then she jumped out because her brother did. And yeah, he jumped out on the alien's head and then she jumped out and then one of them tripped and they had the same fucking dream. And to me, that is not a dream. That is a shared experience. So I'm like, yep, pretty sure my son is alien. And my daughter's had a past life. She might be alien too. I don't know. It's so
yeah.
weird.
Do you want to know? Would you want to know?
She's the only one that told me. And I really love it. I love hearing her stories, but at the same time, it's like, what's going to happen now? Okay, so I was talking to you earlier about birthmarks. We all have that little diamond shaped thing on the back of our heads. I think we
Mm-hmm.
were all executed. We were all like put in a
Weird
row
because I do have
and
I have a birthmark. The other birthmark that I
right?
have, yeah, I have a birthmark here and
Yeah.
where I got stabbed at.
Oh my God. Yeah, right there in
And
the back of my head.
mm-hmm.
That's where all my kids had it. At first it was on their lower neck, then it went to the back of their head. Pretty sure we all got lined up like this with our hands behind our backs and on our knees, and we all got shot in the back of the head, just like they're doing today. Russia and Ukrainians and whatnot. It's so fucking sad. But yeah, that was past lives for us. And I'm like, all of my kids have that same mark. I think we all died the same way as family
I
together before.
I know my wife told me and my sons told me when I get really upset or mad or worried, I have a
Are you
diamond
fucking
shaped
serious?
red
Oh
mark.
my God.
Huh?
Okay. No,
I've
my
got
kids
like
have
how
that
many
too.
things have I hit that you've heard?
Lily, okay, so Nova has a rooster, which Vern's a cock in the
Uh
Chinese,
huh.
whatever. But she's got a rooster here. It even has the claws like right here on the bridge of her nose. Everybody has that. Even Kinsey, like hers goes a little bit further when she was a
Uh huh.
baby onto her eyelids.
Yeah.
They have the same, they call it a stork mark, but same. This is where the bullet went in, this is where the bullet went out.
Yeah.
That's the
Fucking
way I think
freaks me
about it,
out.
because it's all, and mine's right above my eyes, right there, and
Mm. Maybe we were
and
like Holocaust victims or something. I don't even fucking know. What
I
is
don't
that?
know, but I know that for some reason, I don't know why, but I cling to the 1950 era or 40 or late
And I
40s
love that
era.
music too. I'm just like, and everybody's like, "What the fuck are you listening to?" I'm like, "This is music," and they're like, "That's
Yeah, like bebop and shit like that.
oh, I love
You know,
it."
you know, La Bamba, all those guys, Buddy Holly, um,
Yep.
those guys all ring my bell.
Hmm. Me too.
And
My mom, which is my mom now, she adopted me, but she's like, she was freaked out because not only did I keep my room clean all the time, but I was listening to classic music like Buddy Holly, like you said, Richie Valens, all these other fucking people, and she's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like,
hmm
it makes me feel like I'm at home. Like I think I had a past life there.
yeah, and it's Big Bopper. That's another one. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah.
I've always clinged to that era, and the way they dress, the dances, the way they dance, the sock hops, the hanging out at the the
The sock hop and
yeah,
bebopping.
like a Sonic, but there was like the A&W. They'd hang out the A&W, or like a Happy Days era. That kind of Happy
Mm-hmm.
Days era, definitely. And I just at the strong sense that that time I should have been walking around, but yet
I think we knew
I'm
each
here.
other.
You know, they say that's what happens. That people from one cycle to another cycle that true friends or knows each other very well seem to follow that same course, and they run across each other over and over again
Mm-hmm. It's a
through their
circle.
many lives.
It's
Yeah,
a circle.
and
It happens
I think it's
repeatedly.
the Zuni. Is it the Zuni that live out on
They're
the
right
other
by
side of the river?
Farmington. Yeah. The Zuni
They're
Nation.
the ones that believe that the Earth has went through so many cycles, different levels, and that
I fucking
we're
believe that.
continue to go through more many cycles.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and and it's funny because if you think about it, you got all these people saying global warming, but
Do you not
I
see
see it more
it
like
with these
Earth has
hurricanes and
cycles.
stuff? And Florida's flooded. Now it's up to South Carolina. Now it's going to North Carolina. It's going to go up and up and up. Pretty soon, there's not going to be any more Florida. And I did live there for a certain portion of my life after my mom died. I
Yeah.
actually tried to go
Well,
across that bridge. I was skating across, and people were like, honk, 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 because it's like miles and miles and miles. I was just trying to get to the beach, bitch. I just want to go find seashells. And my dad's off
well,
there, going somewhere, doing coke or whatever, but I just wanted to go to the beach. And I ended up turning around because it was further than I thought. In a car, it seems pretty short. On skates, not that short.
see what you think about is you live next to water. If you studied history at all and cared about history at all, you'd know that the Earth's land masses change,
Well, look at all
and
the
they
things
start
that
at
are
the water.
underwater. There's so many things
Yeah.
underwater right now, and people are like going down there and I want to say spelunking, but that's for caves. But they're wearing their underwater gear. They're going, there's different masses under the water. It's not that they originated there, but now they are. And guess what? Global
Well, I
warming
know.
is actually happening. And pretty soon we're not going to have a Florida. Or, everybody said California is going to fall off into the ocean. I don't think it's going to fall off. Maybe it will eventually, but it's going to be flooded too. Everything's going to be flooded. You know that song about oceanfront property in Arizona? That
Yeah,
someday is going to be fucking true. It's scary, but it's true. It's so
it,
fucking weird.
it is true. I mean, you just you can see if you look at a world map or global map, you can see where the United States was attached to Africa. I mean, you can see it.
Hey, I'm part African. I'm part black, brother.
Right. We're all supposed to be African too, you know. But I just don't see how people are so shocked when they move that close to water or volcanoes
How could this
or
happen? It's like,
California.
you
Look at
knew.
California.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, it's going to fall off because it's right there on all these. What are they called?
Fault
Trenches,
lines.
cracks in the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fault
plates,
lines.
tectonic plates.
Yeah.
They live on these
Tectonic plates,
areas.
fault lines. Yes, and that was crazy because, like, we had worked for years and years and years to take our kids to Disneyland. We talked to Kenzie about that since the age of 2. It was finally at the age of 18 we were able to take her. And it was crazy because we were in our hotel room and we're watching TV, and Lily's like, I want to go home. I want to go home right now. If we don't go home right now, we're not going to be able to get home because the road that we came in on was destroyed by a massive fucking earthquake. And I was on the holy shit, something something's wild ride. Okay, so I'm on a log and we're going down and the back of it lifts up and then it slams back down and we hit, and then all of a sudden, like, everybody is stuck because an earthquake fucking happened. At this very same time, Vern is over there with the littles and they're all dancing around with Mickey Mouse and Pluto and Goofy and everybody. And Vern is feeling like, holy shit, is there another stroke about to happen? Because he feels like dizzy. He's got this, I want to say euphoria, but it's like where you get that vertigo. He felt vertigo. He
Yeah.
felt like shit was going bad. He didn't know what it was, and he thought it was him, not what was going on. There was an actual fucking earthquake. When we're going down Rabbit's Wild Ride, the back of it lifted up, and then we hit back down, and then we went in and collided with a bunch of other fucking logs because the earthquake disturbed everything. And Vern thought it was him. He's like, oh my god, I think I'm having another stroke. But it wasn't. It was just like,
Wow.
it was an actual earthquake. It was crazy.
Do you know where Kalinga, California is? Kalinga, California?
I don't
It,
think so.
it sits right on top of the San Andreas Faults.
Okay.
Right on there. They call it the earthquake capital of the world.
I guarantee it.
They have anywhere from 10 to 12 earthquakes a day. They're little tremors.
Right.
But they had one that was a 7.9.
Yeah.
And when it hit, you remember it?
No, I'm just saying, like, recently there was one in Mexico and one in Japan. I'm like, it's way, way, way far apart. Okay, it was Taiwan and Mexico. Had the same amount of earthquake. What the fuck is happening to the earth?
Well, check this out. 2 to 3 years ago, you know a little place called Dolores, Colorado, over there by Cortez?
Yes.
They had an earthquake over there that actually chipped off part of the mountain, and a huge rock weighing over, I think they said 5 billion tons, came down the landslide, took a swath out of the land path, took out trees, fell into the road. They could not move the rock. It was so big, so they had to go and build the road around it.
What the
And it was
fuck?
due to an earthquake.
Was that where,
Yeah, you
okay,
can
that's
Google
where that
that.
cliff used to be. That's the same place, I think, where we went up there and we were cutting wood and we heard some screaming. It sounded like a woman screaming, but I think it was a mountain lion. And as we were heading down, there was a mountain lion that scaled that cliff. I'm pretty sure that's where that fucking rock fell. Guarantee it.
Yeah. And you know what's weird is there's a lot of mountain lions, and that's where I've seen all the mountain lions I've ever seen was over in that area.
Mm-hmm. They're very prevalent there.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like,
but
there's a woman screaming for help, and they're like, no, that's a mountain lion. I'm like,
yeah, if you go up to Telluride and you go through Dolores and go up to Telluride, you have to drive around that rock. So if you want to take a scenic ride with you and Vern,
holy
go
shit.
into Cortez, go to Dolores,
go up like you're going up to Telluride up through Lizard Head Pass.
Now you gotta go
Before you,
around.
yeah, before you get out of Dolores, it's only maybe like 3 miles out of Dolores.
I knew that
You'll
shit was
see
gonna
this
happen
huge,
because
huge
you
ass
could see
rock
that
and a
whole
road going
wall.
around it.
Yeah, and I was like, why is there nothing built here? There's a reason that it wasn't. I think it was because of where it is and the elevation or whatnot, but yeah, I was expecting something to fall from there. Now it finally
And,
did.
and it's weird because you can look and it must have slid probably 3 miles from the
That
top
is
of the mountain.
insane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you can see the path it took to slide down that hillside. It took out all the trees are leveled. It's like somebody dug a ditch all the way down where this big, giant, huge 10-ton, 50-ton, 40-ton boulder sits that they couldn't even break up.
I've seen houses
And that was
along that
2
way
actors
too
that
where
fell.
I'm like looking at the rock formations and shit, and there's rocks that slide right up against the house. But if this one went through, it's going to take it out. But yeah, they slide right on down, and the house is still there. Not for this person.
But in those certain locations like that, like Yellowstone, Rico, you know where Rico is.
Yes.
There's some
There's
weird
a
stuff that
lot of
happens in
Bigfoot
Rico.
there. Have you heard about
What's
Bigfoot
that?
there? In Rico, Bigfoot?
Oh yeah. Have you did any investigations up in Rico?
Yes, we actually went to the Enterprise Bar and Grill. We did investigations there. We were picking up on a lot of shit, and the next day everybody's like, "Well, what do you want to do today?" And I'm like, "Well, I want to go up the hill where my husband and everybody was doing security because they're talking about they would be there and there was something lobbing or throwing big ass rocks down into the fucking river. There was a fucking Bigfoot there. So we went up there and we crossed the
Yes, there is.
barrier. We did the trespass dance. We're like, yep, we're gonna do the trespass dance and we're gonna be okay. And we were because we got out as soon as they showed up and the trespass dance actually worked for us. But I did actually get pictures. Okay, so it's like a stone quarry or whatever, and there's a lot of shelled stone, etc., etc. But there was gravel there, and I could see the imprints of feet. So I put my foot with my shoe right against that. I took pictures to show, and then I put rocks at the big toe and at the heel of it, and I'm like, this is the Bigfoot print because it's kind of hard to see otherwise because it is in stone. Um, but yeah, definitely. There's been a Bigfoot up there. And then we went back down to Enterprise Bar and Grill, and they're like, oh, well, you need to talk to this lady because her and her daughter go out and have coffee every morning, and they saw a Bigfoot. So I went and talked to them, and she said, yeah, we were sitting out there one day, we were having our coffee, and um, you know how groves of aspen, like they do their own thing, and then there's an
Mm-hmm.
opening? Well, there was an opening and they saw a Bigfoot that was white, kind of like the Yeti, and it just
Mm-hmm.
walked across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of like 10 or 15, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, and it was across. And they're like, "Holy shit, we just saw a motherfucking Bigfoot!" And that was the okay. So I think with Bigfoot, when you're a young fella and you got all that spermatozoan going on within you, you kick out the old guy because hey, you're no longer needed. He goes across the way and he's got his own place. So the young guy stays up here, throws rocks, does whatever he does. The other guy just like walks around and pillages and does whatever he can. But they saw the old guy and they're like, yeah, we saw a white Bigfoot cross this path. And I'm like, I believe you. I believe that's true. I think he was annexed from the Bigfoot community because he was too old anymore. And the younger guy was like, I'm the
Right.
man now, and
Well,
he had to
I
go
know
do
for
his
a
own
fact
thing.
there's a family of Bigfoots up there. If you go outside of Rico and you're going up the hill, and once you get down to Rico and you cross the bridge and you start going up, on your left-hand side there's a little trail that goes up the hillside. And if you follow that road and keep following it, it'll
Hmm?
put you out in a place called Dutton.
Dutton.
But Dutton. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful drive. But
Yeah.
if you go up that road, there's a field up there
and this field, beautifully green field, and there's an old cabin up there, an old cabin.
Yeah.
It looks like it's kind of broken down, not lived in, but there's a stream there and it's full of fish. People go fly fishing up there all the time. And across that field, by that old cabin, there's a bunch of quakies and spruce trees mixed together in there.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my friend were going up there one evening, and it was just about, I'd say, not too late in the day, but it wasn't, all that bright. But the sun, you could still see, 1,000 yards easy,
Right.
And we were walking over there, and on that field, that grass is about hip high, right, on a regular person, and there's plenty of food up there, lots of water, lots of food, deer, elk, there's wild turkeys, there's a grouse, just filled.
Oh, I
All
love
national
grouse. It's
forest.
so good.
Yeah, and that's where I go grouse hunting up there. In fact, that's what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
So delicious.
it's all national forest all the way up there until you get up to Dunton, and then it turns private, and then it drops down into Stoner. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you know where Stoner is. It drops
Yes.
down into Stoner, and then you can go back and down into Dolores that way and make a round trip of it.
Yeah,
To Rico.
they were selling that recently. It's been for sale a couple times. Like, people will buy it, people will sell it, people will buy it, people will sell it. Stoner
And
was one of the big things when I was a kid.
that was the place to be.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we went and partied there all the time. I mean, that was
Yeah.
the place to be.
And it's for sale. It's like, yeah, you should buy that shit. Seriously, that is
Oh, yeah.
epic area.
But if you take that little drive where I said to Rico and go up that hill and look under some of those trees, there are some killer mushrooms over there. Really good edible mushrooms.
You know what? I've been looking
That
for
are
that
so good.
because I have social anxiety, so I'll take a shot or 5 during the show, and I'd rather microdose. And I heard that mushrooms are now legal.
They are.
And so I've
Denver,
been
you can buy
trying to
them
get
in Denver now.
people, I'm like, can you get me some mushrooms? And they're like, yeah, we can get you some. And then I never hear from them again. And so I'm thinking, if they're legal, can we get it through the dispensary? Like, they should be doing that, you would think.
So my son is studying to be a psychologist. He is now teaching in psychology what kind of mushrooms to give to people for a different kind of mental illness
Well, the
or
magic
depression.
ones, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, if you want to see somebody sick, just look at me.
No. And my
I have to
daughter,
have.
when she was living here, she's like, Mom, you want some of these mushrooms? I'm like, I'm about to do my show. And she's
But
like,
that,
it's just a microdose. And I did it, and I loved it. So I want to do that more. I'd rather do that than drink, because drinking is bad. Bad for you kids. But doing
and
mushrooms, I think, would be best.
they have a lot of mystical purpose for them in healing your body, organs,
Yep.
your brain,
And
um,
yeah.
your spleen, which gives you all the blood.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, your liver, it helps with your liver. It helps increase kidney functions. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that my son was telling me that they prescribe them for now, and you can go up to the shop. Denver right now is the only place that's selling them. But you can go up
Man,
to Denver to the shop and to a mushroom shop, and you get them.
I don't want to drive that far. That's going to cost too much. I just need
I
somebody
know. I
here
mean,
to get me some motherfucking mushrooms. I
if
have
somebody was
mushrooms
coming
growing all
down,
over my yard. I don't know about you, but this year it's like a plethora of mushrooms. I'm like, those aren't the right
well,
kind. I'm not going to put that in my mouth.
I
Even
say
my
2
kids
years
were freaked
Durango will
out.
have them.
Yeah, can't wait that long.
Yeah.
Anywho's, we're at the end of our time. Can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
I lost your voice.
Oh, I was saying, we're at the end of our time. Can you tell our listeners where to find you?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook.
Under Troy Trone. He's a friend of
Under
mine.
Troy Trone, yes, under Troy Trone. I'm free to ask any questions that you want. Um, I feel free to give you any explanations I can, or anything I can help you with. I'd be glad to help you with. And if you just want to share a story with me, that's great too. I'm all ears. And
Hell yes.
I'm very thankful to have you as a good friend. Thank you for inviting me to your show once again. I had a wonderful time, wonderful experience, and God bless. Tell Vern hi for me, and give you kids hugs and kisses, and much love to your sister.
Well, love you too, brother. And like you said, I'm just so grateful to have you here. And I can hear Vern talking in the room next to me, telling somebody once again what's going on. And it kind of takes me back to when he was in ICU and I was having to tell people about it. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't envy him at all. Um, but he's still here and Dave's going through his thing. So everybody, please send out positive energy for Dave and whatever may be, and I'm pretty sure he's ready to go and cross that rainbow bridge. Seriously.
We'll all see each other again, guaranteed.
Yep. Oh my gosh, he was such a good guy. I love that guy. He was awesome. But I'm so glad that you were here and that you had your little fur babies too. That was awesome.
Oh yes, and Chester right now he's in his sprawled out position with such shooting for a porn star magazine. So
Right? Well, thank you so much again.
he sleeps like that. I have no idea why.
That's like
He
my
just
cat. And he's like, yes.
does.
But thank you so much
But-
again for being on the show with us tonight. And I hope we can do it again soon. That'd be awesome. Because I know we got more stories to talk about.
Oh yeah, I got 50 years of them.
Heck yes. Let's do it again. And thank you to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, KPNL Radio, Twitter, iHeartRadio, and wherever else beyond the Omniverse that you're listening tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend when we're doing story time with me, TessaTNT, and then we got Luke and Vinny for story time. It's gonna be epic, you guys. It's gonna be awesome. Don't forget, we are all in this together, and together we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. Night, night, love and light. You guys take care of my use, and I'll see you back here, same time, same batty place. Salute!